Following a third straight record high close for U.S. equities, futures pointing to a relatively flat open coming up this morning as markets digest the Fed's latest move as they work towards combating inflation and slowly unwinding some of this pandemic stimulus. They did say yesterday they will begin to taper their bond buying program, in fact, this month and going forward from here. So we'll have a look at the overall market here. As I said, pretty flat to kick things off so far this morning. As for yesterday, though, we saw big time positivity come back in following the Fed announcement. All three U.S. equity indexes to the upside. The Dow was up about 105 points. It was the 51st record intraday high of the year for the Dow and the 42nd record high close for the year for the Dow. The S&P posted its fifth straight day of gains, advancing about 0.5%. It was 0.6. It was the 74th intraday record high for the S&P and 61st record high close. The NASDAQ, much of the same, very positive. Earnings continue to dominate the headlines this morning. A whole bunch to get through this morning. We'll talk about Roku, Qualcomm, MGM, just to name a few. Moderna as well, not good, to the downside so far for mRNA. Lots to get through. It is Thursday, November 4th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, pretty flat, as I mentioned. The NASDAQ trying to lead things back to the upside here, about 0.4 so far. S&P and Dow relatively unchanged. TSX futures positive so far here in Toronto. We're looking at a negative start for cryptocurrencies. Crude, remember, big move down yesterday, so trying to bounce back today, 1.8% so far in positive territory. It is maybe the biggest earnings day of this reporting season. Good morning, guys. We made it to Thursday. Going to be an interesting one here. Markets, again, kind of chopping around here after the big moves we saw yesterday. Back to record highs once again for all three U.S. markets following that Fed announcement.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I didn't realize we were in threat of not making it to Thursday, but who knows what Jerome could have done, except he's a team player. So the market races higher. Yeah, there's a lot of earnings certainly on tap, but I kind of feel like a lot of people are going to be looking at good old Tesla, which did not report earnings. There's further details on this Hertz order, which I don't know. Like we were saying this the other day, it's like Tesla's going to sell as many vehicles as they make, so it's good for them, I suppose. Maybe it's better for Hertz. Who knows? Either way, Tesla approaching that 1250 mark. Each one of these round milestones just gets crazier and crazier. You look at this chart, it's getting a lot more difficult. If this was any other stock, you'd already be thinking about where you ring the register on a portion of the position, but it's like, how do you ever sell Tesla? A crazy, crazy move here. There is some downside, like you said, Moderna, that's not good at all. And then Roku got hit as well. Some stronger names, certainly we'll talk about it, and maybe one that we'll talk to Raheem about, because Lightspeed reported as well.
Yeah. Okay, so there's all this talk about Tesla, and for good reason. I mean, it's up a lot, right? But what's the car company that's up the most this year? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it's got to be your Ford.
Right, it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's
well,
Ford.
For a split second there, I was trying to think of another EV name that might have made a big enough run.
There might be something that's crazy like that. But yeah, Ford's more than 100% this year, and it's just continues to rock and roll. And now today you're at $19. Like it's this name. Forget about. I mean, look, don't forget about Tesla. I mean, we're in Tesla. I'm really, really long in that name as well. But Ford this year, just alone, guys, like January, $8, right? $19 right now. So you're talking about like 120% of a gain here in Ford. And just in the last little while, just from September, you're at $12.50 up to 19 as well. So Ford right now, to me, and look, here goes Ford right now. It's going to break 19 as we speak. 1.25 million shares today. Ford continues to rock and roll, man. We rang the register a little bit. I said 15% or so out at 18. And now we're busting out through 19 today as Ford continues to go. And you want to talk about no news. I mean, this is just a move off their earnings report. We last went long at 13, and this has just been an absolute killer position. So we're rocking and rolling with Ford, and that just I don't know, man. And here it goes, 1902, still rocking and rolling. We'll check out the imbalance locator. It's on here, but a very, very small buy. It's the number 2 name on this one with Chinese EDU up here. Skills is on there as a sell. We talked about that name yesterday. Do we just go long Ford right now? I mean, you're at 1905 here and just ripping up right now. So Ford continues to be the darling that I thought it would be this year. So congratulations, anybody long Ford with me. This has been an amazing ride upside.
Just checking on Tesla here, not really moving, guys, but a couple of things out on Tesla worth noting there at 8:30. Tesla and Hertz apparently now negotiating over how quickly Hertz will receive deliveries from that bulk order that, remember, Elon said there's no contract for yet, but the Wall Street Journal now reporting that I guess discussions are underway. Also, this number kind of blew me away this morning. The company added $350 billion to its market cap in the last 10 sessions. Like, that number is just mind-boggling if you take a second to think about it.
It's insane. In a lot of ways it is. I know a lot of it's options driven, driving prices up to a certain degree. And then, of course, there's, that Tesla's more than just a car company. But at some point, and this is and something that I think we were talking about before we came on air was, at some point, when you have moves up like this in a $1 trillion company and it drags the market with it, when it does, we get that. There was that one $10 move we were talking about that Tesla had the other day, and yesterday, and then it moved the NASDAQ. You saw that one spike. At some point, like if Tesla has one of these pullbacks that if it extends to like 10, 15%, or if the rug pulls out as fast as it goes up, there might be that one day, and then I wonder what's going to happen to the market on that day. And it just feels like there's going to be an opportunity to take some profit. Like God knows where. I'm not even sure what makes sense at this point, because you'd sell some in front of like 1250 because you're playing with some house money here, and then it's like it'll probably be at like 14 or 1500, and that's the game. Like that's the thing. Like you can't sit there talking about, okay, well, it's a good buy here or there and something like this. Well, if you're trying to pick it up, you have to sell something first for it to matter. Otherwise, just sort of holding on for those gains. So I'm thinking about it at this point. I'm not really decided, but it's getting a little bit intense for Tesla. And whenever I see a chart like that, I just sort of look at, at some point there has to be some kind of a dip. Like really? It's 350, like you said, 350 billion in just that short period of time. It shouldn't almost be possible. Like it shouldn't be. And then if we ever retrace that far, I'm just thinking about the panic that some people are going to have in them. Now, I mean, should you if you're long at the more reasonable prices? I doubt it, but that's not the way the market operates. People tend to panic too much when things pull back off the top.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many charts that look like Tesla, honestly, right now. I mean, even if you look at AMD, I mean, Neil just had the Tesla chart up here. I mean, look at AMD, 100. So this is up the same. I mean, very, very similar. You're up 30% in a month, not even a month. Up 30%, just straight to the upside right here with very few pullbacks. You had one little pullback from 123 to 120. And then now today, again, we can see the triple Qs, the NASDAQ futures here up another 0.3%. So, I mean, some of these names just continue to work, man. Big cap tech is where the space has been for the last 15 years. I mean, I don't know what's going to change this. It doesn't seem like the Fed wants to slow any of this down. So, I mean, you just keep your money in the market. Like I said, I've been basically 100% cash for a very, very long time. We're just starting to trim some positions now. We're even adding more cash to the positions to buy more things. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think that this is a market that we need to stay long and, rotate out of some here, rotate into there. Like we got some Nucor, we got Nike. I didn't even do anything about Nike. I mean, you want to talk about big cap tech. I mean, Nike we just bought at 145. It's at 180 right now. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of wicked names working for us. So, I mean, just stay long, stay the course. The Fed didn't give us any reason to pause yesterday. So I just keep recommending and keep trying to go long some of the best companies.
Yeah, the market loving Jerome's news and announcement yesterday. Before we go any further, there she is. Good morning, Ms. V.
Good morning, guys. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a wonderful day, sending you all the luck. Please make sure to like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yes, let's indeed, guys, get it started. Lots to discuss. As mentioned, before we get to the open this morning, we're under an hour to go. Merck here getting UK or Britain giving the thumbs up to the magic COVID-19 pill. So they're the first country to do so. A lot of people are talking on Twitter about this. That seems kind of quick as far as the approval process, but I mean, to be expected, I guess. We got those amazing results and the data that they released on this treatment. Again, remember, this is a therapeutic for COVID-19, not a vaccine. So MRK looking pretty good here today.
Yeah, huge missed opportunity in Merck. I mean, I thought thought this pill was going to be too expensive, but you know, look at this. This is when it came out right here on the daily chart. So this is back in October 1st or whatever when they released the data that they had this pill. Bang, shot right up, and then people were like, it's not that great. Went all the way back into 77, 78 here into this level, and then it's just taken off since then. So, I mean, what a great move from Merck. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, just open up. Just throw another name. Like, there's so many charts that you can throw in here that are like this. The higher quality companies are moving on, you know, any good news they have, they're bumping up. And if they don't have good news, then they're just inching up. So, I mean, this is just another name here, getting ready to rock and roll even higher. I mean, do we see a 100 print coming for Merck soon? I mean, everything, generally when a stock is in the 80s and 90s, it gravitates to that $100 level. And so there it is. We've already been up here before. We're at a nice level, made back everything that they've given up here, Merck. I mean, what a great bottom. That was at 66. Obviously, that was back in March of 2020, but you're right back here to pre-pandemic levels on Merck. So, yeah, I mean, it's full steam ahead on all this. Again, I don't know. Apparently, you know, it is an expensive drug. You said it was the UK, so I don't know what, you know, if the health coverage over there would be covering this for some people.
Be. I mean, they have a good, I would imagine they would.
Yeah, which would be great for Merck. So then you don't have to deal with insurance companies maybe, and you don't have to deal with the price of the pill coming out of your own pocket. So, hey, Merck right now up to pre-pandemic highs. It looks like a breakout here through 93, 94.
I think it's sort of obvious that if the UK is going to approve it, then it's going to get the approval elsewhere. It seems fast, but I don't know, because everything around the vaccines was relatively fast in that regard too. Just quickly, Digital Brands here announces, this is like 7 minutes ago, by the way, that they were accepting cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. They're now up 18%, screaming into a 540 top. Well, what's going on? There we go. Screaming into like this 540 top from just literally I think it was like last week. Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, where it did a harsh reversal. So just kind of look at where we're going here. The lower high, I think, was, it was right about here, but like that 540 level, it's spiking the pre-market up to like a 660 area. So, you know, it's starting to get into that resistance. It just broke 5 and failed. But volume coming into Digital Brands a little bit, I think just after we came on air, actually.
Let's go to Penn here, guys. Yeah, there's a similar story this morning on Macy's. We had a huge run up yesterday in Macy's, if you remember, that we'll talk about coming up here. But I want to mention Penn because we've talked about the gaming space over and over and over again. Q3 earnings better than expected, but not a good look here for Penn this morning, guys.
I didn't even, you know what? I didn't even look at that stock. I forgot that they reported. I'm obviously a DraftKings shareholder, but I don't really like this space. I mean, I sold DraftKings at $62. We can have a quick look here at Penn. I haven't been able to get back in. I mean, I didn't like that Entain deal there. I don't know what Penn, you know, whether or not they paid too much for the score or not. Penn's been a really, really nasty stock all the way to the downside right here from their as high as 140, just like DraftKings. But I think they're chopped in half. I don't think DraftKings is chopped in half yet. It's close. But yeah, 140. I mean, that was a big, huge move there. They did have Barstool. You know, they do have Barstool involved here, and Penn has some casino side aspect to it as well. But you're down that 3% now. You know, you're going to get some support at 64, 65. So, you know, that could be a level to look at there. My 1 minute chart's not loading, so we'll get that to go in a minute. But Ian, I don't know, down 3% here today. What do you think, Neil?
I don't like what's going on with the stock. I became a de facto, like you said with the score deal. Like I became a shareholder because it was a stock portion of that deal if you own shares of the score. And I don't know that they necessarily paid too much. I mean, obviously the score had been on a run. If you were following the Canadian markets, the score had gone on a big, massive breakout run. And they bought sort of like, you know, not exactly at the top, but, you know, at least not as far of a pullback as you would have liked there. It's the momentum that's the trouble for me. And he's sort of looking at how we're reacting to earnings in this market right now. And, you know, anything that has a decent report that comes into the downside that isn't breaking back, especially with momentum like this, you need to get back above 75 here. Like, it would be easy to simply say, okay, let it drift back into support here at 60, 65, hang on because it's a small position, but principle is priceless. And I'm probably just gonna dump because, like, for me, outside of DraftKings, which I've been holding on to as well, I kind of like, I still like that Fubo TV, which I think is probably even more speculative than Penn. And it's like, how much do you want involved in a similar space? Sometimes having too many names in a space that is not necessarily as established probably isn't the best way to go. So if you're going to hang on to something, I would probably say DraftKings. I do like Fubo TV. It's a bit of a blend as well. But Penn, I'm probably going to give up the ghost here. I think there's a trade if it gets down to like 60, 65. Because anytime you have a triple bottom like this leading into a breakout, that's going to be a level worth revisiting, right? But that same breakout at 75 is your resistance here, and we're not even sniffing that today. So unfortunately, bye-bye to Penn for me. I'll probably end up doing it at lunchtime or after the day. Sometimes you wait like 2 or 3 days on earnings. I don't know. I don't see the point. It's one of those things where I wanted them to report once, and if they blew it out of the water, it would be a reason to hold. If the momentum got broken back into the upside, it would be a reason to hold. Neither of those things happened.
All right, we're going to get to Zillow, guys. Zillow back on the watch list this morning, but can we take a second here and just discuss this? Because what is going on here with Miss Wood and ARK? If you remember yesterday, we were talking about her buying on Tuesday 288,813 shares of Zillow. And then this comes out aftermarket yesterday. Yesterday, then, she dumps $3.9 million on the way down, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, she changed her mind.
Yeah, I mean, not much to discuss here other than the fact that, she took a swing at earnings and obviously they had a big miss the last couple of days there with them, getting rid of their Zillow offers. She saw it come all the way back down here into 80, which is a nice little resistance level there, or support level. Bought some into earnings, realized that that was going to be a mistake, and then I guess liquidated the majority of her position. So I think I'm going to say, yeah, congratulations. Like, that's how you're supposed to manage your positions. And so what's up? Shout out to ARK. I think that's a good move by them. If they don't like the name, they get the heck out of Dodge, right? And I mean, it still probably has something in there. I bet you when it cracks 85 again to the upside, she buys more, probably buys those 3 million shares back. So, take a couple. We don't know. I don't know where she's long, but obviously took a hit on that position there. But was that an average price? I mean, Zillow, depending on when you started to buy them, I know she buys a lot of companies like a Palantir, like Roku, like buys a lot of these companies early, like Tesla in their development stages. So she could have been long. Like, you don't have to go back that far, man, to see where Zillow it was. Like, this is just back to last year, August. This is last year, October. So basically right here, right now. So she may have made a little bit of money on that position, took a shot there, dumped the rest here, probably a loser in their portfolio. But hey, I like Zillow today, actually. It's on my sticky note. We took a couple longs yesterday, really lucky to defend that first 70 spot yesterday. Got that out at 73, then had another bid down here at 70.50, got it out at 71. So we made $253, maybe $350 yesterday on this name, long, which was unbelievable. And then you bottomed out at 63, which was a crazy bottom last night. You could have had that. It ran into the close. Up to 66, that's another $3. And right now, I'm looking at holding this level. We're right here right now, but 66.50, this could be a level to hold. So I think I'm gonna try to go long here, 66.50. I also don't mind a 70 break again. We held that yesterday for a little bit anyways, and then broke it, but we held it right there and bounced up. So we'll see if it gets some love backside here. It's up 3%. I don't mind it. I am gonna put a bid. I'm gonna put a bid somewhere around here. Maybe, let's let it fall first. So let's see what happens at open. And then if we come down into 63, 64, 65, something like this, then we'll wait for the move back to the upside, 66.50. I like Zillow here. I think it may be overdone.
Yeah, and I'm going to preface this by saying there's this cool site that we kind of have looked at from time to time. It's called Kathy's ARK, and they track her movements. They have the sells in from yesterday, that 3.9 million total, but then it still shows, they got about 1% grouped over across all of their funds still. So according to this, at least, they still have somewhat of a position. It wasn't dumping everything, but yeah, it's like you said, Sean, like sometimes, you look at something after earnings and you wait till after earnings to make a real decision. Making a bet on, like you said, like a bounce off of support there, like that sort of, probably not anticipating that it's going down 20% is my guess, and then thinking that you easily had like a nice little 25% ramp to that resistance at $100, and not thinking that you were gonna risk all the way back to here, but then you dump it. If it's not all out, if that much selling, like it was in the multiple clumps there, if that much selling caused that secondary push, because I was short and then thought 70 was going to be the bottom because it gapped so far. But if that much selling is that actual push to the downside, you have to at least think maybe we can get back to that 70 level. Like that's where my head is at, and I kind of like Zillow as well for those reasons. If that was some of the downward pressure was a large shareholder just sort of unloading their position, and maybe it was going to try to find that little bit of a gap fill after all that selling in the morning, yeah, then this would be the day for a little bit of a rubber band, a bounce back play. And it sets up pretty nicely. 68's the high, 70 I think is your resistance. You know, it sets up pretty well here, especially the fact that we know for sure that some of that move to the downside was quite simply a major shareholder selling shares, not someone initiating a short position, but just trimming after earnings and getting out of Dodge.
All right, let's continue along, guys. Lots to get through as far as earnings today. EA, one of those, up 2.5% here. Light volume, though. If you remember yesterday, we got ATVI, was a bit of a miss. This one back to the upside. But if you look at the daily chart, I mean, there's a bit of a wall, to say the least. 146 up to 150 on EA.
I know Prad doesn't like them, but like if you're our generation, it's in the game. Like,
I know it is in the game. What the hell? You know what? I haven't really even looked at EA
is one of those like, it's like what's the name of that machine? Like the EKG machine, is that the one?
Yep.
Right. So like it's one of those charts that, hey, if you like stable things, then EA is your thing. Now you will find very few charts like this. Man, I can pull it back a little bit, but then you lose some of the effect here. Like I'm cherry picking, by the way, when I say it's like it's an EKG, because obviously it had to move from some of these bonds in Jan of 2020. But look, if you look at it just over the last year, you essentially are and this is almost on a dime. This is 125 to 150 with the majority of the range of 135 to 150. So it's like, okay, clean 20% top to bottom, and then majority of the move a clean 10% top to bottom. This stock is doing nothing till it breaks 150. The good news is post earnings, maybe you get that kind of a run. This is one of those things that if you hold it, you're looking to just be out in front of a breakout because you believe in it. And if you're a trader, you're like, well, I mean, there's nothing to do till it breaks out above 150. Unless you're shorting off a resistance, which, hey man, that's worked for you. And then buying off support, which has been a little bit trickier because it's broken support sometimes. So until a stock like this breaks 150, you just sort of put it on the sidebar. But look, man, the consolidation has been pretty long-lived for this thing. So if it gets those kind of legs going, it's exactly the kind of name that could make a push back through some 2018 highs and start to get going. But inside of this range where it's been for like a full year, well, you just got to stay away from it, really.
Yeah, there's there's some talk here about we hear you guys talking about DBGI accepting crypto, things like that. Look, this is why you need to stay long some of these names. Shopify, we'll talk about Etsy. They missed, but I think it was okay. We'll look at Etsy in a minute. But you know, like all of the, if you're gonna get a bump in like a DBGI because they all of a sudden start accepting crypto, like. That's accepting crypto to me is not like a big thing. I mean, it's a big thing for the company, but like I'm expecting all of these companies to start accepting crypto. Like I don't see why Best Buy, why Amazon, like honestly, like why all of these big, huge companies can't, let alone these digital brands, like forget about these smaller ones. And it's a great day trading stock. It's a great stock. And I think we'll be trading it today for sure. But the fact that you're just accepting crypto, I mean, you know, like McDonald's, like there's going to be, you know, real life use cases here, and there already is for crypto, and it's just like if we're going to get pops, I just don't know if these kind of pops are going to hold, is what I'm getting at here. And I just think that a lot of these companies will start to accept it, and if we're going to go long on every single time we see, you know, someone accepting crypto as a payment, then I think you're going to have to be long every single name very, very soon, because play it for the pops, but I don't think it's a long-term thing. I think that's just something that's going to be happening. Do I run over to digital brands now because they're accepting crypto? I mean, it's less than 10% or something, I think, of the US population owns crypto. It might even be less than that. So, and I mean, and how many of those people are looking at DBGI, right? So, I don't know. I want to slow down all this talk on, oh my God, this company's accepting crypto now. now. I think it's great. I mean, as shareholders, it's fantastic. But I want to slow that talk just down just a little bit.
It's even bigger than the holding thing because, like, forget about like 10% hold it. It's like a fraction of that have ever used it for transactions in the first place.
Oh,
so
no, I don't even think it's
like a fraction of a fraction at this point.
Yeah, probably not even 1%. I mean, who's really? I've used it to pay for stuff, but like realistically, this is the space that we're in. Like the common, American, Canadian, anybody, in this world probably is not using crypto. And if you do have it, like Neil said, you're a holder. There's so many. I mean, what's the percentage of Bitcoins that are sitting in wallets that never get transacted, right?
Exactly.
I mean, let alone all these other coins. Like, you can use Shiba Inu to buy like some NFTs and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, we'll wait to see what all the use cases are for these, but I like crypto. I think we just got to slow down on some of the like, oh my God, this stock's going to the moon because they're accepting crypto. That's all. That was
already pulled back.
Yeah, I mean, DBGI is already pulling back. It's almost like since I just started saying this, it was just at 480. Now you're at 450. But anyways, look, I'm excited for crypto, obviously, as a holder, and I just think it's a big move. I just don't think we can go long every single stock that pops up into. Brendan at the big screen before he gets too impatient.
A few big names, guys, to mention on here, mostly on that side of the board today. Here's NIO Qualcomm, a big report from QCOM. We'll talk about that. NVIDIA here as well. But yeah, AMC, Wedbush downgrading AMC, Roku here as well. Not a good report from Roku. Zillow, we mentioned a number of downgrades yesterday. Citigroup jumping on the bandwagon today for Zed, guys.
All right. We're going to get, as soon as we make sure that we can do it. Yes, okay. So we can do this. So thank you, Rob. All right. So we're going to go over now. There's been a lot of talk here about Tesla this morning, and nobody trades Tesla better than Miss V. So let's go over to Miss V. Valeria, what are you thinking about Tesla today?
Well,
Sean, Tesla is a beast. It's literally ripping. It's up more than 6% in pre-market, and it broke $1,242. Wow, this is crazy, guys. I'm now looking at 15-minute chart. Look at this huge gap in between of closing price yesterday and here in the pre-market. So, guys, the only thing I know, I'm not shorting it today, but I will wait until the open, how it acts there. And what are your thoughts on Tesla?
Not shorting it today, huh? Yeah, I don't think we want to be shorting Tesla today either. It's up
never say
2.5%.
never, because if it gets to 1,500,
1,500. Well, it's getting to 1,500.
I know, but
there's today. Yeah.
There's certain numbers. Like, let's be real, man. Like 1,000 took a shot at 1,500. One day I'll take a shot. It's just you have to know, like, you know what? I made a huge mistake yesterday. Because on, I think it was, Bed Bath & Beyond, right? Like I was sitting there thinking to myself, okay, after what happened in Avis, we'll structure along, was able to get out of it, even taking the hit. But, I said something which I don't usually say, which is I don't want to short this till. Now that was true until it got to those even numbers if it broke out. But hey, if it didn't break out of the high, well, then I should have been willing to go both directions. It's the same thing with Tesla. Like, do I have any plans like, oh, look at this rollover, short in front of 1250? Not really, but there's certainly a circumstance under which as a day trader, I would short Tesla. Like, I mean, look, if it goes up 10% today from here, then yeah, I think there's going to be a point at which I would look for it. There's nothing right now.
When you look at a day trade, I mean, when you're looking at a stock throughout the day, I mean, there is going to be lots of opportunities to sell it. I mean, it's just like, are we going to be short in a longer term account? No, but I mean, are we going to look for opportunities to sell it throughout the day? Of course. I mean, you're going to have to watch the NASDAQ, and if the market tanks, I mean, probably Tesla, might be one of the reasons why it does that. So we'll wait to see here. Fisker's not, for some reason, on our watch list. I don't think. No, it's not, which is strange. We are down 4% here. It's not doing too much volume. So, but anyways, Fisker today, they just come out and basically status quo everything, which is not what we wanted to hear. I mean, we didn't get out of anything. It's not a huge position for me, obviously, like a Ford or anything like that. Fisker's had a great run to the upside. It's carried Lucid. Lucid's carried this name a little bit to the high side here. So as every EV space, right? Anything electric right now is good. They talked a little bit about batteries. They're developing 2 new batteries. They said that they're on track for, I mean, this is the disappointing news. It's the fourth quarter, 2022. Remember, I said that the only thing that I was thinking could spark this name, because they're dead. I mean, all these names are dead, basically. They need to get cars on the road, people driving them. That will create some upgrades. That will create, hopefully some positive media and things like that. That's why I talk about the Pope Mobile. But Fisker comes out and doesn't give anything sexy. It's just, they lost 37 cents versus 35. That's fine with me. They generated a whopping
Money.
Get ready for this number, guys.
Money.
You don't even know the revenue number, Neil. $15,000 in the quarter.
I was actually going to say 50.
A fifth. Yeah, but it's 1.5, unfortunately, for that. So that's not even selling one car, so that's bad. But they're coming out with 2 different battery packs. I like Fisker here, but it's going to be a little bit of pain. I'm waiting to load it up, but I'm waiting to get more shares here where we recently bought at 13 or 14. Probably a time to dump some Fisker shares if you are in the profit. Maybe half of them wait for a reload. They didn't come out and surprise. I think in this space, you need to surprise. Fisker didn't do it. Thank God the pain's not that bad, man. You're only down 4%. We were up almost 4% yesterday, so a good day so far for Tesla. Let's wait to see where we go from here, but it's over to Brendan.
Yeah, maybe no news is good news on the sense of Fisker, guys. I was just noticing in the same quarter last year, that same 15,000 number reported for revenue, but it was 37-cent loss for FSR. Yeah, it's down, but volume pretty light here. Let's bring in Arun, get a check of the overall market, and see what we need to be aware of. Once again today, Arun, here we are looking at a record high day possibly again.
Yeah, and the Fed came out, we had a decent move to the upside, came back down a little bit, and then once we finally took, I think, 46.33 or something like that, we never looked back. And it seems like that's the trend continuing because the market really hasn't gone down, even through the European session. We haven't really made a move to the downside yet. So the trend is to the buy side. Markets are up just, I'm looking at NASDAQ is just over 0.3%. ES 0.15. I mean, given where we close, we're sitting right there. Trend is to the upside. So I would just keep that in mind. The only level I'm looking at right now to the downside is 46.40. And if we can actually just maybe even get closer to maybe the 45 or even the 50, there might be a little long there. How do I feel about going long at 60? Not that great, because when it's this extended and is not willing to come back a little bit, it's hard to step into another long because you don't know how much resistance is going to come, even if it goes another 5 points, because we don't know what's up here, right? So we just crossed 4,600. Is today a day where we go 40 points and go to 4,700? That would be impressive. But with a day where we don't know what the levels are and everything is brand new to the upside, I think you've got to take every move with a grain of salt if we don't get a pullback. If we get a pullback and then take off, that's one thing. But if we just keep going, it becomes that much more difficult to get into a trade. So like I said, I prefer a pullback into at least the 50s so we can actually step into a long. We need that setup before you go for it, though. 46.40 is one level I've got, and we're still carrying that 4,600 from yesterday as well. That's the bottom end level. If you're playing through that Fed, if you're willing to step into some longs midway through around that 46.20 area, you would use 4,600. So that's still in play, and then 46.40 as well going into the start of the day. For now, though, I would keep in mind that this market has gone straight up. It hasn't taken a breather just yet. So if that happens at some point, it could be a buying opportunity. If it keeps going, well, I mean, if you can get on board, go for it. But if you miss the boat, I wouldn't be too distraught over the fact that if it keeps going, you're not on board because you don't know when the selling is going to come in at this point.
Yeah, pretty impressive move over the past couple of days. Continuing. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Here we go, guys. That is the link. If you're looking for the watch list, we send it out every single day before we come on at 8:30. Absolutely free to you. You can use the QR code as well to pick up the watch list. Miss V can also help you out in the chat if you do require that. Let's go to Moderna, guys. Down sharply. They cut their full year forecast for COVID-19 vaccine sales significantly, in fact. Between 15 to 18 billion, down from above 20 prior. So not a good look here for mRNA today.
It's not, man. Like Moderna is not like Pfizer. It's not like, they don't have anything else. So when you cut that and when your guidance gets cut, you're going to get punished. Now I like symmetry. So when you have a 500 top, and then I can look exactly where the 200 period moving average is at 252. That's exactly where the last breakout was, 250 to 252. If we break this 93 bottom, I think that's where you're headed. I think that's where like the real buying opportunity is going to come in for this name, because at some point, like, you're thinking about the long term, right? And you're thinking about the breakthrough technology they have and past just how these vaccine sales do for them. So, a lot of people that are starting to think about that are going to see a buying opportunity. I think you let it test that break. maybe break down to that 250 level, and that's where you start nibbling. There was a lot of support and a cluster down to like 200 here, where you kind of figure you'll check up in that range, and then you're risking about 20% if it gets down there. For the day trade, there was that 316, 317 area. I just popped my 15-minute chart up here. That was previous resistance that had turned into support. I came in today thinking 100% short anything into that range, and then Moderna said, hold my beer, we're just going to break 300 right now. So a little bit late to the game. If you're sitting there at 7 a.m., you had a chance when it tried to take those levels out and get to the quarter, and then it came right back here and accelerated through that 16 to 17 area. I pretty much would never trade, and I never have traded Moderna early in the pre-market. It's just not a name that I would choose to do so, but it gave you that opportunity, and it might be gone at this particular point. So, we'll have a quick look at Moderna. If it catches a bid, I think that 16, 17, 18 area is still good for resistance. 293 was that level on the daily chart, which is $2 away right now. And if it breaks that, heck, I think long-term it's a buy in front of 250. Of course, maybe we don't always say this, there's going to be ETFs that you can probably, find bottoms in Moderna a little bit more safely if you're not invested in the space at all. The Moderna is going to be a heavyweight in a few. So Moderna, there's no getting around it today, down 14%. There's nothing good about that revision. And it's starting to get some interesting levels if it breaks that 293.
All right. Yeah, so I have the same kind of thoughts here. So I just got long DraftKings on a deal with NBA, just extending their deal here. So we are long DraftKings right now. Let's see if we can't get this one out near that 48 level, and then we'll see if it can crack out through 48.13. But we're just going to wait on that play. I do have an offer right now at 48 to get out of half the shares. I don't like to be in this name too much here heading into the open. I don't really like DraftKings too much. Someone asked me earlier, what was a good level to buy Moderna? It's quite obvious, man. This 280 is pretty key right here. Right where we had a little bit of a jumping spot right there for Moderna. So I like 280 here as a buy, but yeah, I mean, they don't have the pipeline there for the drugs. A bad day for Moderna. I've been talking about short since 320. You had to go through a little bit of pain there up to about 350, 360. Now Moderna coming back in. I don't like this name as much as I did at one point. We have to wait on their cancer therapeutics and things like that to see if there's any mRNA involved with that play. So anyways, DraftKings is the name that I'm on right now, and we're going to wait for that to get through 48, but we're not going to wait for too much longer because we have the man, the myth, the legend, Rahim Alani is now in the building.
All right, guys. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. We're going to touch on a few Canadian opportunities. We're going to discuss some cannabis sector plays this morning, but it's hard to avoid this Lightspeed move this morning. Rahim, a name we've talked about many times on the show here. A big move down, big miss for them. They reported 20% in New York. Obviously a dual listed stock here in Toronto as well.
Yeah, no, that's a name that we've talked about as sort of one of the new tech darlings in Canada. They've done a bunch of acquisitions. There was a short report out a couple of weeks back, and when we did speak about it, and we saw the move on what the stock did based off of that report. And we have to go through the numbers to see how it lines up with respect to what the short report was saying. But it's definitely a big move down to the downside, 20%. It's looking like it's going to open up down 20%. So, in the short report, they were saying if you're making all these acquisitions at a time when your client base is restaurants and small businesses, they don't necessarily correlate with given what's happening with COVID and all of that. So it'll be interesting to see what management says if they're having a conference call on it.
Yeah, I mean, an impressive daily chart still on the year, but we're all the way back to a couple months ago, early summer kind of levels for Lightspeed. Let's go to cannabis. We had JP Morgan out, it was yesterday, I think, late in the day yesterday, restricting trading on some cannabis-related stocks in the U.S. That put pressure on some cannabis-related ETFs in the U.S. What do we make of all this?
It's an interesting move. Credit Suisse sort of did something similar a little while back, and now that they've gone ahead and done this, they've given everyone until November 8th to unwind trades and start to unwind trades. Any long shorts, they're going to sort of restrict going forward. There was a big ETF that was down 26% this year, and I think you'll start to see some of that because if the U.S. can't participate in some of these names, it has a big effect, right? So it's been a volatile year. You look back to a year ago today or around this time, a lot of the cannabis names moved up significantly on the fact that people assumed banking acts would change in the U.S. and how all of that would move. And a year onwards, I think people are saying, well, nothing's happened yet, and what's going to happen now? So you look at the bumps that came then, and where we are now, some of the names that we'll talk about today are near their 52-week low. They're still great numbers, but they're at their 52-week lows relative to where they were a year ago today.
Yeah, so some earnings obviously coming through in the cannabis space as well. So we'll touch on a few names here, just to kind of throw in your back pocket, keep in mind, have a look at every once in a while. Green Lane, which I believe is dual listed.
It's on NASDAQ.
Oh, okay, so a NASDAQ name, Green Lane. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that we thought we'd put on to talk about some of the names that are just American listed. They're in the accessory space. So if you believe sort of as an ancillary, you want to get into the cannabis instead of the grow, you want to look at the touch points around packaging and around vapes and around accessories. They merged with a company called Kushco as well. Sales of $40 million in the last quarter, and 20% gross margins, 15 million cash in the bank. But you look at the chart, they're sitting around $1.80, I believe, which is around their 52-week low. So depending on which way you view the accessory space in cannabis, that might be one to look at.
Okay, we'll move on. Acreage, another one that we've mentioned numerous times on the show. I mean, a CSE listed name here in Toronto, but lots of news around that one as well.
Yeah, same thing. So they've got their quarter coming up November 10th. So next week you may want to keep an eye on it, depending on which way you view it as well. But trading around $2 off basically near its 52-week low when it got up to $9. They have a huge play in New Jersey and New York. They've got to grow in New Jersey. They've got the most number of dispensaries that you can have in New Jersey. So, again, if you view the cannabis trade as and the dispensary angle, the multi-state operators are places that people are looking to invest for sure. But depending on which way you view the certain states that they're in. So if you like New Jersey, New York, that might be an opportunity there. Again, trading at the 52-week lows.
And there is we were just showing the OTC listing there for Acreage. So there is U.S. availability. Village Farms, another one.
So Village Farms, they're sort of in that midpoint. They're trading around $9-10. Had gone as low as $6 up into the $25 range, and decent volume. Vertically integrated on the farming side, so that's where their sort of impetus came from. They were on the farming side and grew that business. Then they added in with the produce side. Then they got into the CBDs and the cannabises of it all. Pure Sun Farms is one of the largest grows in Canada that they own. Interestingly, though, they got their first shipments going to Australia, which could be, a play, given that that's a whole new market for them. Yeah. And they acquired a company in Netherlands, and it's one of 10 companies that's got applications in with the government of Netherlands. So, one of the homes of traditional cannabis, as it were. Village Farms is making a move there in the Netherlands.
We've mentioned a few on the show before, and I'm talking about the real estate side of things. We were talking before we came on, there's so many retail stores now that the real estate side of this industry is quite large. Yeah,
so this is a name that we picked up a long time ago. I think we may have talked about it in the show, IIPR. It's a bunch of pharma guys that started the business out of San Diego, and essentially just on the REIT side. So if you're looking at the real estate side, they come in, they give you a bunch of money for your real estate and lease it back. And they've been doing that for a number of years, and the stock's gone between 104 between 140. It's trading about $250 right now, 200,000 shares a day, $6 billion market cap. Just in the last quarter, they put out 5 new lease products, $54 million of revenue, $1.50 is their dividend, net income about $1.20 a share. So very strong numbers. And again, if you believe in the real estate angle of it, then that's an ancillary way to get involved in the cannabis trade.
And it certainly doesn't seem like it's slowing down at all as far as the expansion of these the real estate side of things. Just to recap, the JP Morgan story we talked about. What was the date again? That
November 8th.
So November 8th. So we'll mark that down coming up next week.
Yep.
Again, JP Morgan going to start restricting some trading for cannabis-related symbols. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. Pleasure as always.
Anytime.
Good to see you. Sean, we talked about this a little bit at the end of the day yesterday, but as far as the cannabis sector is concerned, this can't be a positive overall.
No, look, it's been a pretty bad. There's some ETFs out there that you could trade as well if you did want to spread sort of the. I have Qualcomm up here right now as I was listening to Rahim, but also watching out for Qualcomm. I still think that CGC honestly is going to be the name that you're going to want to hold, but it's at all-time. We're not going to say all-time lows because these things started at zero, but you're basically near year-to-date, year-over-year lows here at $12, $13. I like what we talked about there with the multi-state operators. TRUL has been my biggest winner in the cannabis space. TrueLeave, I believe it's on the CSE. So here you go. It's also come down lately, but again, with more states opening up, like what Raheem was talking about, some restrictions, things like that. You did get some of those bills passed in California and New York lately. But even this name, like $66 all the way back down here to 30. So truly, I believe is a good name here, all the way down to $30 right now. So you're chopped in more than half in just a few months, right? So March to November, a big move to the downside here. I am not super excited about this space at all. It needs to get going again. I'd rather miss, the first 20% than buy now and suffer through maybe another 50% drop. Like, honestly, you got to wait for something to come out here, on a more federal level in the U.S. And until that happens, man, I'm honestly just going to keep holding these bags. I'm not buying any more of any of these names. Let's wait for a rally. I don't see it right now. We just had COVID, more people sitting at home, more people should be blazing, and it just doesn't look like that's what's happening. I guess we can get rid of these Halloween things, but, we'll wait for Weed Batman to make an appearance in the building, and when he does, we'll be here to short that stock.
Yeah, play with the momentum. Sometimes it's just better to be in the move, be in the move as opposed to try to predict the beginning of it. Thank you, Alberto Sarti there. First day as a professional trader. Awesome, love it. Love to see those first. After many months in demo, I just made 230 on my first trade and the market's not even open. Yeah, there's lots of opportunities in the pre-market. Thank you for tuning in. Qualcomm, well, I guess, we both were looking at Qualcomm here. Qualcomm breaking out this level on the daily chart, so I'm going to throw that one out the window. I'm not going to get that break. It's not usually a stock that I would put pre-market trading and Qualcomm together, but today, well, maybe should have done that because this is that 150, 250, which broke early and then barcoded and now broke out through 153 on the run. This had been a bit of a dog on the year, but sometimes when people say, on the year, Qualcomm was actually down. It just turned green on the session. Timing is a little bit of that story, right? Because just look at what it was doing. It just made some highs, and it was just breaking out the highs. So the timing of it on Jan 1st compared to the pullback that it made, it's a little bit cherry picking there. If you look at it from support, it had actually already made a pretty decent run, so it wasn't as bad of a dog as some people had made it out to be. But hey, blowout earnings that we'll get to for sure. Qualcomm breaking out in a big way. All-time high, I think it's 168 or so is the actual top. I don't know, $11. I don't think it gets there today, but hey, next couple weeks, days, who knows?
Qualcomm, guys, just popping up on a volume scanner, which is pretty rare. So we just broke through 156 on volume now. 13% for Qualcomm. Let's get into this report because it was a huge one for them. Revenue up 43% in the quarter, 9.32 billion, 255 per share versus 226. So yeah, huge move here for Qualcomm.
I mean, it's really ridiculous that we're not long this name already here. I mean, I wish Neil was or I was because it's just straight to the upside. Basically, I wrote it down on the sheet here that the Qualcomm just basically saved investors. It was been a horrible. I mean, if you've been in like big cap tech, not that Qualcomm's more old tech, but the same thing. You'd be in Qualcomm hoping a great move off the bottoms in March, but we're not. I don't even want to look at March actually. How do I zoom back in here? But if you go from this is good. So if you go January, which is right here into this area, we just turned positive on the year now in that spot. So Neil brought that to my attention, and you just have to look at a chart to see that. Back here, January, so it's right into here, like 152, 153 is where we started the year at. A nice dump down, which not even that bad. You get down about 20, 30% on the year. Like, so they were down, like imagine that. You buy Qualcomm, you're seeing Microsoft, Apple, Google, I know they're different names, AMD, NVIDIA, all these names like up almost 100% plus this year, some of those names, right? So, and then not 100%, but 50, 60% plus. AMD 30% in 1 month. We've talked about that. NVIDIA 30% in 1 month. So now here's Qualcomm's turn, right? So they make a bottom 2-3 weeks ago. Then they come out and they say chip shortage, not a problem. Production, not a problem. Apple, they're leaving them for some of their chips in the iPad and in their phone, developing their own phones. Not a problem because they've divested into Android phones. So look, Qualcomm, hold my beer. We're right back up. They're finally positive on the year. Congratulations to all Qualcomm shareholders that have been holding this for the year. Now finally getting 3% return. And you will see where it goes from here. I think with that report, Qualcomm probably just goes higher because I don't think that. It's up 13%, and I still think there's more room to run. It's a great name, a great solid company. A lot of people invested in this one. So I think it goes higher here, and I don't see a reason why it could pull back today, but I think it's a buying opportunity, especially at this 150 mark. If you can ever get anything back into that, we'll be buying that name, but it really sucks that I'm not long already.
Yeah, and again, sometimes it's just a bias into stocks that usually are day or pre-market tradings and ones that aren't. Like this one, I have like 149 to 152, anywhere into that range. I think it's probably a dip buy. And again, some of the lack of dependence on Apple can turn out to be a positive for them when it comes to the chip shortage. But anybody that comes out and says hold my beer with regards to being negatively affected by the chip shortage is going to get handsomely rewarded. And Qualcomm, you're seeing that happen. And the best part is they have room to run back towards that high, right? So in the next couple of days, every reason, unless the market does something crazy, that you could get back up to that 168. I think first things first, it's a bit high to be buying into the top at 920 here with 10 minutes till the open. I'm anticipating, dip buy is probably your best chance to get in. Just Tesla because it's pulled back a little bit. So it just held 1244 from what I can see. It's pulling back in a little bit. If you can hold those pre-market lows, still has a chance to press that 1250. But we've seen the dip buy be the preference on Tesla before, and if it gets deep, like 1190 to 1200 is my target area for a dip today.
Let me just quickly address this issue with Hunter here. Thank you, first of all, for looking at the sticky note. I mean, I put some time into this, look at some different stocks, basically just looking at stocks that are moving and also stocks that are on the watch list, right? So Tesla always moving. The 225. Was more of a spot that I want to start to build along, not the breakthrough along. So you asked, now that it's broken through, what do we think about 1250? So I just think that into this high right there, 1215 yesterday, 1216, I think if you start building a position at 1225, you won't be too upset. If you do have, if this continues to fall, I think you can get out at 1215. It's going to be a $10 hit. I think that's reasonable on a stock like Tesla. And then if it does break that 1215, then I think you can start to look at some of those levels that Neil's talking about here, 12, 1190, things like that. I mean, I wouldn't start at 1225 with the idea of, it depends. And again, congratulations to Alberto starting his day off with a nice winner and becoming a professional trader. So with that in mind, I consider ourselves professional traders. So you don't want to give everything back on one false move. So that's where I'm saying if you buy at 1225 there, Hunter, then I think that you do have space into 1200. But I would get out at 1215 for the $10. And if I'm wrong, you lose the $10 and it rips all the way back up and you feel stupid. But if we do break yesterday's high, I think that there is some testing here that needs to happen back at 1200. Look, people always say this, a pullback is healthy. And I think that needs to happen in stocks as well. I mean, just here, like Tesla rips up yesterday in the morning right away, right? We touch 1190, but then it comes right back and tests pre-market bottoms of 1170, then goes back to 1290, then retests these lows before ripping into the close up to 1203. So that's what we talk about. Are we able to short Tesla? Yes, we are. Will Tesla come back in? Yes, it will. So, there are opportunities to buy, and I just think 1225 is a spot that you can sort of put one of those. I mean, it's a stake bid, but not really. I mean, I think if you got to fill down here at 1190, then you'd be pretty lucky to grab that fill. So I think 1225 is a reasonable spot if you're a Tesla bull. So that's what I was putting here on the sticky note in the bottom. For me, it's the bottom right corner. I don't know how it shows up on, I guess it's the same thing online.
A few more to get through here, guys. Let's touch on a couple if we can. Roku, first off, down 8% here pre-markets. I mean, not a good report for Roku. If you jump all the way down to their accounts, active accounts, it reached 56.4 million, netting 1.3 in the current quarter. That was down from Q2's 1.5, which was also down from Q1 of this year. So the trend continuing downward here for Roku.
Like you can talk all you want about the supply chain issues that they mentioned here with Roku, but the other problem here is they talked about advertising being an issue. That's another revenue stream for them. And when you have major companies which, because of supply chain problems, dropping their advertising budgets, that's it's just like a double down on these guys to have a negative print. And you start getting into this. I don't know yesterday, I know in the post market it got to 280 and you have some wicks down here and you had some consolidation. So I think that's the level where I think the support might be. It's gapping. It's okay, it's technically not gapping up, but from where it closed in the aftermarket, or where it got to in the aftermarket, it is somewhat gapping upside here. And I think it's one of those, if it cannot break the high, it's probably a short kind of idea. I think 280 is plenty of runway if you get yourself into a bit of a short position. I do think you can't get too stubborn with something like this because it's exactly the type of name that if it starts to run on you back into the upside, there's going to be some people that are going to want to try to bottom pick this, and you don't want to get too trapped in something like that. Do I think it's as good of a short if I can get Moderna at some levels? Probably not, but that's just because Moderna Moderna's a better day trade for me. It does way more volume. Roku tends to have bigger spreads. Like here I see a few 100,000 shares traded. That makes it real tricky. So that's why you don't want to get on the wrong end of it. Like if it takes out 93 or 95, I would just be getting out of Dodge. Whereas, Moderna, you can trade it around those levels, have area stops, see how it treats a certain level and trades above it. I don't think you get that privilege with Roku. I don't think it's a good day trade. I think there's a lot of negative news that I'm not a huge fan of there. So, if you like the stock, wait till next week and then maybe pick it up at that point. Maybe you might be able to get like a 265, 270, something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking a little more positively on Roku for today. I mean, it's still down 8.23%. It's not a good day for them. But the fact that they said, there wasn't a demand problem, it was more a little bit of supply there, being able to produce these set-top boxes and get them shipped and get them to some customers, obviously that's going to be a problem. I mean, they're normally like a big Black Friday deal type of thing, and if they're not able to provide pieces of equipment to the consumer in a month. I mean, it's less than a month now, Black Friday. So that's something that I'm concerned about. But I do think that people buy these Roku sticks. They like the platform. It's pretty friendly to use from what I've been hearing. So, anyways, a dip buy right here, 280. So I gave 280 for Moderna. I think 280 is another spot here for Roku. So I am sitting there. And if you look back, remember we talked about Cathie Wood and like buying Zillow at key levels, buying some of these names at key levels. I always say as well, there's the 3-day rule, right? I introduced that to you guys about a year and a half ago. I forget. It's been working great. There's a few great examples when we first started talking about it. But I believe in the 3-day rule, so you don't have to buy things 2 or 3 days. Basically, the afternoon of the third day is a good time to buy something if you like the name and it's just had a little bit of a bad run based on a news story or based on earnings. But right here, just to go back on that Cathie Wood talk, this is a level where if you're into Roku, you're buying it here. And it's a technical reason. And I just think that's, could spike Roku higher. I think you may get an opportunity to buy this a lot lower in the next couple of days. But for today, if the market holds upside, and we're still at 0.29, I think Roku has a chance to hold this 280. We're going to take a shot at it. That's basically it. So we'll take a shot here at 280. Others took a shot down here as well, man. This tanked, and then it got bought up like crazy. As soon as it hit 280, it rifled back to 288. So can that happen in the open market? I'm hoping so. Let's wait to see. I'm a buyer of Roku, low side 280s.
A few little ones, bottom end of the list once again this morning. This is one of those pets, PETZ on the NASDAQ holdings company. This is a warrant issuing, so they increase some cash flow for them, up significantly on that 70% here. 450, and then the top of that spike from the pre-market was about 510. So you can kind of look at 5 to 510 was that high. We're already struggling at 450. It did just break 4, but it's trying to hold again at 4. So there is a buyer around 4, it would appear. This has come a long way. You got to go all the way back to mid last year to come up with some levels for this PETZ, guys.
Yeah, PETZ's on my radar for the whole like a 930 pop short if it can't break the top notion here. Cassava Sciences is halted news pending. That looks like it just happened here. So again, it happened at 9:25. I'm not sure when it's going to open up. When it's news pending, there is no definitive time. You can go to NASDAQ trade halts to see what happens there. There's only 2 minutes to go, so I will talk about EVAX. I know everyone is asking about this. I think it's like 19 million float on EVAX here. Look, it's. They got an agreement, like they announced an agreement last week, so the run that it put on yesterday in the aftermarket was completely insane. From what I can see was on air, if not just like social media type of stuff, and it got to $50, it then came back to 16. It's now looking like it wants to break out at 25. Tread lightly on this. We have no locate, so I mean I couldn't short it even if I wanted to, and I don't know that I would want to if it broke out at 25 unless it's playing the halt game. If it breaks 25, look, this thing going $10 would not shock me. Just look at what happened in yesterday's action. So carefully consider whether you want to get trapped into halt. And if you have locates on this, well, make sure you have an out if it tends to break the high. And don't get caught holding the bag. I don't think it breaks 50 again. If it gets up to that price, people are going to look at the sell-off that happened in the aftermarket and probably get scared off.
Yeah, Ford breaking 18, we know about that. Guys, look at Zillow here. We put it on our sticky note right here, and we said should take some pressure off here today, overdone to the downside. So as you're seeing right now, if you took some advice there, you get a nice little bump up. 67 to 69 right now on Zillow. Just took off a little bit there, so we'll wait to see if it takes out 70. I do have a bid to go through here if it can get in. And then I also don't mind a bid back here, like as I talked about this, 64, 65, 66, something like that in here. I'm going to put a little bit of a bid downside there. Small bid to start the position. Again, could be wrong. This thing could just tank right in again, and people realizing that this is a good spot to take profits because we were at 63 yesterday. So we'll see if it comes in on some pressure, sell pressure. We'll see if we can get long at 65. And then I do hate DraftKings to trade this in the middle of the day, but we get that NBA news. I thought it could have sparked it a little bit. It goes up to 48. We didn't take it out. We have an offer there now. We'll see, but I mean, we didn't have that opportunity. It went there before we got it. It came back into 47.90. We could have taken that out, but we didn't. So we're waiting at 48 even. I don't know, what's 47.99. So if that can hit, that's great. But we're going to dump this out if it goes back down through 47. So we only have 30 seconds to go now before the bell opens up. We're going to watch DraftKings, Ford, a bunch of good names here today.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go. One from yesterday, Qualmscape. This is a daily chart. 32.50 is a multiple top here. And then you have the 200 period looming at about 33. So it's set up for a bit of a break, but we got the countdown looming. There it goes. Ooh, that was a little bit of a delay there.
Watch Palantir, 26.40.
Miss V is on the bell, 876. Careful that EVAX could take out that 25 right off the open. 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Miss V.
Let's go. I forgot to get the Palantir. Palantir at 26.40. I like this break here on the high side if Palantir can go. I like that right here through 26.40, the high. We'll see if that can hit. So that's just a play that I'm looking at right now. 26.40 for Palantir. I'm only in DraftKings.
Yeah, and just watching this EVAX look, there's probably no stock that is as dangerous to trade today. Just hits that 25 and then ticks right away from it. So failed break on EVAC. I'm going to be in and out of that one really quick. I want to make sure it goes through. I'm going to put another stop at like 25, maybe like 15 or 20, because that just came up. One dark pool wick got me in and out, and Tesla's starting to come back into the downside pretty hard, actually.
Yeah, he's loving Moderna over there. What's up to our boy Prad? Let's go over to Moderna and see what's happening. We just might have put in an order there. Tanksville. Okay. Was it Tanksville? Is this Tanksville right here for Moderna? Yeah, 280, 280. Yeah, so it's, yeah, wow. It actually, I didn't even realize it opened near 300. Down to 280, 288 right now. It's getting close to a buy for me. I do want to take a stab near 280 on Moderna. So if it continues to fall, man, we'll take a shot on this long, guys.
And, we didn't get to Bird. Allbird, which was the IPO yesterday. Apologies, a lot happening in the pre-market, obviously. But Allbird, another one that is, where is it on my quote board? There it is. Yeah, there it is. Allbird, another one that was heavily traded, I think, for a lot of people to the long side. There's a big 26 level that just got broken. Well, sorry, 26 and a quarter. And then this 26 level looming as well. If it continues through, you got 24 as the next support to the downside. Allbirds, I do own a pair. I found that out when I got home last night.
Nice. Okay, so right now we do take that Palantir long. We already take a piece out at 46. Now we'll see if we can go higher, 47, 48, 49. We talked, there it is. There's a 49. What did I just get filled there? I thought I had a 49 now, 48, sorry. So we just take a 48 fill there to the upside, and I thought it was 49, but it's 48. So a little small win there so far with Palantir in at 26.40. Now we hold to see if we get some more love to the upside here for for Palantir there, not Moderna. Fisker's breaking. I mean, we thought this would happen today for Fisker. Not, disappointing. Well, I think we've got to take a short through 17 here for Fisker. So a disappointing report, needless to say, guys.
Yeah, and I got the first leg in on this Pets. Now, obviously, I would have liked it a little bit better if it's going to pop up a little bit stronger into that high, but the initial move, load. The charts have been actually I'm having an annoying chart day. Thankfully, the ones we put up for Raheem are okay, but it doesn't make that pop off at the open there. Instead, you can see. Yeah, what just happened now? It's ridiculous.
132 for AMD.
Now it's heading to the downside. If it breaks this 360 level, I think the floodgates open up, but I want to short this into that 420 as heavily as I can. If Moderna pops here, I'm going to try to short the pop. Did miss that first initial flush.
Yeah, Wish, AMD, ATV. I mean, AMD right now, 132, coming back in on a NASDAQ pullback. Yesterday, it's not on here, but we played this dip yesterday and got long right here, 127, and started taking it out for $2. So we'll see if we can rinse and repeat that kind of a strategy right now on AMD. But this is really high up for them, man. We know that we like this name. I'm trying to find out where I like it. There's a nice little dump off here. They are selling this name. So Moderna, I keep saying Moderna. AMD coming right back down in the downside. We did get flushed out of DraftKings, which is completely fine on that. We're actually making more money on Palantir there on a 10-cent move than we do on a 70-cent loss for DraftKings. So that should show you some of the confidence that we have there. Let's try to pick this up if we get into 130, 130.50. This market's coming down here. I'm going to take a small little bid here on AMD. What's up, Brendo?
Lightspeed, guys, back to now, approaching 72, down to 70 maybe. There's still room for this thing to go. And we were talking to Raheem. This was 18, now 26% for Lightspeed.
Like, that's getting out of hand. I got my first leg into Moderna here. I mean, I ended up getting like 93.5. It probably should have been like 94.5. But Lightspeed, I mean, give me a break. Like, it's some, like, I was actually like saying maybe if you got like 68 to 70, like somewhere in that cluster here was going to be that target area. And we're already there on Lightspeed. It's dual listed. You can trade it in Canada, but I'm looking at it here in the New York. Make the price adjustment. Gets anywhere close to 70 even. That's got to be a pickup. That Pets, I only got a couple of salvos in. So I got 88 as a price. It's down at 77. Quamscape did not make its break. Allbirds is back above that 26 price, and I didn't get the average into Moderna either. But the two shorts looking pretty good so far. And that EVAX, which I think, you know, it's halted to the downside. If I had shorts, I would have taken it on the fail break, but we have no locates on EVAX. I did say tread lightly. The fail break, I was in and out in seconds. That's now halted downside, EVAX. Be careful with that one, guys.
Someone's saying NVIDIA going. So we are actually long into AMD right now, you know, into this. I'm not going to let this go. I mean, we're going to have to break probably like 130. So let's, you know, think about this name here as the market right now just having a hard time. I mean, it's bouncing around. If we do tank, obviously we don't want to be stuck in some of these names if I've been known to average in a little bit too long before getting punched out. So we're going to wait on this one, you know, to bring us back to yesterday's close. If we have to, 130.50 is going to be a spot maybe where we reload and then relook at this thing if we break through 130. So that's going to be the plan of action here for AMD, and Palantir we're looking to reload as well.
Yeah, going to have to ring some registers at least. I mean, why not? We'll go for the backflip because I haven't done that one in a while. I can't do a real backflip, but in lieu of my daughter's first gymnastics class on Sunday, which we're excited for, we'll do some backflips. 350 on Pets. It's continuing to flush lower. I did take some out of Moderna in front of 290 as well. And we'll look at this EVAX. This is me taking the long and then immediately out. If I can short this, a failed break at 25 is always a short entry. You will not see it here because we have no locates. Like I said, tread lightly, have an out for something like this. I thought if it broke 25, it was probably going to at least 30, if not like 40 or 50. It does not make that clean break, so I'm going to take the hit and run away. Tesla, which we did say, I don't know if I use the word tanks fill. I don't know, with Moderna I use the word tanks fill. So Tesla is gently heading downside toward this 1225. I have my stink bid still in front of 1200. Not really accelerating enough to get us down there, but you absolutely never know. Moderna now breaking 290, so that continues to go to the downside. That'll work for us, but didn't even get the price that we really wanted. EVAX has opened back up, and it continues to head down. So, you know, once again, up on absolutely on air, a failed break, and then a lot of times these things will fall for the rest of the day. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but like I said, be careful with these ones. Sometimes being in and out quickly is the way to go. Allbirds, not doing a heck of a lot, but it managed to hold that 26. So it breaks that key 26 level and now manages to hold this bid. I'd like to see it consolidate a little bit. We're now 286 on Moderna. So 280, it's coming up, man. It's coming up, that 280.
All right, let's go. We also have AMD, nice 50 cents in the money as well. We can look at Roku quickly, as some people asking about that. We're waiting to get longer on Palantir, near 26. So we've talked about that. Wow, this is... I mean, let's go, man. I talked about buying that Roku. Unfortunately, we weren't aggressive enough. We were waiting for a dip on the open. Didn't happen. You know, there goes Roku straight up to the upside. I bet you're going to see a report now. And Brendan, just come with the news because it definitely happened. Kathy Wood buys Roku on open. I mean, there's probably, I mean, I say probably. I don't know if she did or not. But that's something that most likely just happened there. Roku just rips up to the upside.
Well, we won't know till
whether
later.
or not it's her. Uh-oh, there it is right there. We'll hit the siren alert because guess what? AMD, that's 50-cent win. We'll see if we can go up to the upside. 132 is what we're really looking for. Give it to him, Brandon.
This is not going to be good, guys, because Sava Sciences review by Journal of Neuroscience shows evidence of data manipulation and technical paper foundations to the company's lead drug candidate. So that just out for Cassava.
And this is the thing, man.
Yet,
like
it's
it's not open yet because the news just got disseminated, so it's not good. And we've been sort of saying every single time, and just like I can't there's been like some scalp long ideas, but it's just, to me, it's always a short on the pops. I did get in the light speed in front of 70. It's 70.77. If you look at the daily, that 70 level has some support like 68. So it could breach 70, find a bit of a bid, and I got to give it some room. But I'm going to be all ears or all eyes on one level 2 for when Cassava Sciences reopens, because that could get real ugly real quick. As a matter of fact, no, forget about it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be very, very ugly. Not Moderna ugly. Like Moderna times a million. Like, it's going to be ugly for that stock. Wow.
Guys, quickly, correction. Lucas caught this. Thank you, Lucas, for catching this. There was a word missing there. No, very important. No evidence of data manipulation for technical paper foundations. My apologies, guys.
Okay, take everything I said back. Obviously, the one word does change a press release.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why it's a press release, so it's right there in English.
That is a huge difference.
Okay, thanks, Lucas. Lucas always saving everything for us here. AMD, though, guys, I mean, this is going to be one that we just keep on air horning every single day, man. We talked about buying AMD on these dips, and there it goes right up to the upside for... Did that air horn even make sound there? I don't know.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either, so it's probably Rob made it, which makes sense. So we'll just drop down some money here as AMD. There it is, man.
Ouch.
80 cents now in the money and still going to the upside goes AMD. We did take a Fisker short there finally. I didn't even realize Fisker went up, man. Like, Fisker went up to 1760 there. That was an unbelievable short. And there it goes, man. Fail time right now for Fisker as bang down into the 80 range. So there's another one for us. The only thing right now, we're holding on to this Palantir. We just average into this one as Fisker coming back to the downside. $1 now in the money on AMD. But right now, Palantir just looks like it's having a struggling time here. We're going to get out if it breaks right here, which is almost where it broke. 25.90. We're going to get out of this in a minute. Like I said, we're not just going to rest on this stock. You know, if it breaks down, it breaks down. We'll hope we'll find a better opportunity. But AMD, $1 in the money. This is 23 cents out, and Fisker's 25 cents in the money right now. Let's take out another piece of Fisker right here. Down to 1660. We said this would be a disaster day for Fisker. Not disaster. I was surprised it was only down 3%, remember? And now you're down 8.5+% here on FSR. Let's just take some of this short out, man. This is a good one.
Oh, we also Fastly reported as well, one that we didn't get to. It's on the move to the upside. It actually got in the aftermarket, up to like a 65 print, but trying to take out this pre-market high at 59.50, so it's setting up a little bit. Lightspeed has retested that 70 for like the second time here. I think it can't give past like 68. I think there's like $5 of upside if it actually catches a bit of a bounce. So it just retook 70 again. I'm now looking to see if I can get some more shares on top of that 70 level, if it can start to hold here. But Fastly setting up for a bit of a breakout. It was a busy earnings day, so I know we didn't get to absolutely everything for you guys. I don't know when Cassava Sciences is going to open up. But obviously that one word is a monster difference. You had the short seller report yesterday calling it a gigantic fraud. To me, I think you stay away from these types of names unless the momentum is with you. The momentum for a break is more at that 70 even level, but that kind of that release could cause the jump. You actually could see it gap like above all these levels, and maybe it opens up at like a 60, a 65. If it opens anywhere near here, obviously you're going to be thinking about some long opportunities, because some people are going to be caught short on the wrong end of this one, and they're going to be running to the exits. Wow, one word makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a big deal because we had it the wrong way, right? I mean, if you read it the other way, then we get very excited about Fisker, about Cassava Sciences. So we'll see how that opens up. Still, we'll see where it goes. You never know. Okay, so AMD, there it is, man. We ring another part of the register. Now we have 1/3 out. That was another $1 win there on AMD. Check where we got out right here, right into some of these pre-market highs. Obviously, we missed that very top. Doesn't go there. We were waiting, but there's an out. So 2 ends, 2 outs for AMD, and we hold on to 1/3. Give it to us, Brendan.
Fisker, guys, looks like a bit of a stop run maybe. Through 17, there was a huge volume spike that took it all the way down to 1660, but right back above 17 there for Fisker.
So it just
I was short that play on 17 break. We got out some at 70 there, but 65 hopefully goes back down.
I just want to confirm, NASDAQ website does have a resume for 10 o'clock on Cassava Sciences. So people saying that in the chat, you're absolutely right. Always keep that one up. If you're trading names that are gonna halt on you, make sure you have that website up for reference. We can always bring it to you as well. Lightspeed now made a bottom at 60, so it holds at 68 level for now. I wanted it to hold 70 for an ad. 68 is that stop area on the daily chart. So if it can get back above 70, which it just did here, that's what I wanted for reload. Sometimes you wait to buy until it shows you, I'm not going to chase it too far, give me a break, until it shows you some bit of a bounce. Moderna makes a bit of a bounce as well. This Pets, which I've been just basically sitting in this one short, it never gave you the 930 pop. I only took the one out in front of 350 here. It consolidates a little bit. If it makes another leg to the downside, just zoom out a little bit. I'm looking back to those post-market dips. I mean, 265 is like a nice ultimate target for Pets. Brendo.
Fastly, another earnings name, guys, just popped up here through 57, right through to 58 on decent volume to the upside, but pulling back pretty quick. Fastly up 7%.
Ooh, that was even up. Okay, yeah, I mean, I do like some Fastly. There it is. We'll go down in the drain here. Let's tap a fail here on Palantir, which is funny because the market, again, up. Palantir down, so that's not a relationship. But there we go. We might have just lost out. I was going to say maybe that bottom was 90 there. So we could look at that again. It looks like it's trying to hold out for this 90 range. I thought maybe we could get out and then take a long into here, 70s. That may not come through, but we will stick some more bids downside just in case we can get picked up. But looks like it is having a hard time with this 90 area, which is nice. That may be a good popping out spot here back to the upside for Palantir. So let's see if we can break through 26. We'll take it now. We'll give this one a little bit of room. We know it can have some room to the upside. So it's about a 25-cent hit there on Palantir. Not good. Where this is our big position there. That's why our average price was 17. So, we'll see what happens. We did take a little bit of profit, but then not enough, obviously, as we're coming back in. So let's take a 26 break now.
So if you're watching the whole page, that fat BB is now halted. It's only done a couple 100,000 shares worth of volume, but hey, like that stock went absolutely nuts. I think it was like 16 halts. I don't even know how many. It was ridiculous how many times it halted before. So just be careful with that one. Moderna again. Tried to pop back up. I thought, I kind of thought there was going to put a bit of a reload. Made a fresh low, got to 285, then popped back up to 290. If it had gotten a little bit higher, I was looking to take some more shares, maybe in the 93, 94 range. We're still shooting for that 280 price. If it gets down there, I think that's sort of an obvious area. We're right back at 70 on Lightspeed. Tesla, hey, I guess this is boring for Tesla. It's not really doing a heck of a lot.
No, Tesla's doing enough to make a lot of money, and I didn't do it. And the thing is that you guys remember, shout out Hunter, if you're here, man, or anybody that saw me talk in the pre-market there about Tesla. What level did I say was going to be a good buy, if anyone remembers? Bueller, 1225? Oh, damn, that's the low of the day today, 1224.30. So we had that bid, and we did not, we didn't put the bid in, but we did call it there. So I'm going to say congratulations and thank you, Hunter, for bringing that to our attention because, I might have not taken it, but at least we gave that call, and there it is for everybody to love, hopefully, 1225. Can't believe I wasn't sitting there. I meant to put a bid in. I was putting bids in all these other names. I have a low bid on Moderna. We're waiting for that. I had a low bid on Roku. None of those even come close to filling, and the one that does fill, I don't have a bid on, but whatever. We're here every day, and we saw Alberto becoming a professional trader today. Look, you just live for another day, right? We'll wait to see. But that was definitely a missed opportunity there as we pegged that 1225 basically to perfection. I'd be doing literal backflips right now if we had that trade on, but we don't. So there it goes. Tesla, nice little play there at 1225. Thank you, Hunter, for that for sure. What's up, Brendo?
Just working my way through some earnings, guys. Lumen, another one that reported. LUMN up 12% here, just topped out at 14 there on a volume spike coming back. But a decent report it would look like for LUMN.
Just noticing Ocugen here getting crushed, down 18% and still flushing. Well, that was like a failed break to the high side there. I think this Lightspeed's going to give it up at 68, and we'll take a hit on that one. Maybe should have just joined the party and shorted it. We'll have to wait for it to settle down. I thought Moderna was going to settle down a little bit, maybe pop back to the upside and give you another reload. Looks like it could break that 285. I still like the notion of covering in front of 280. It's just a level I like. I want to take some profit there. I'm anticipating it's going to catch a bounce somewhere. It doesn't mean it has to happen. That Fastly, which we mentioned was on the way to looking like it was going to break out after their earnings. Unfortunately, I think Brennan mentioned actually that it pulled back in a little bit. Thank you. Pulled right back into the opening range. It's trying to put in a higher low here at 56. That would be a fantastic sign for this. Then you're looking at break back above VWAP in like a 57 area. The volume, not necessarily fantastic. And Pets, which we did take one leg out of, coming right back into that 4 range. So I kind of liked 420 a little better, but we had to chase it at the open because it immediately started going down. If it can level off here around 4, I think that's going to be a re-entry zone for me on this, but I want to see it slow down and consolidate. Otherwise, I wait for that 420 price more specifically. Brendo, what do you got?
Yet another one, guys. Etsy, Sean, you mentioned Etsy briefly there. Decent report for them as well. You can see this thing was doing absolutely nothing pre-market and even aftermarket yesterday, and now we're at all-time highs, 260 for Etsy.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked Etsy for a while. I've never gotten into it. I always thought it was a little overvalued, but obviously when they put out good reports like that, yeah, value is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. AMC, look, yesterday we were buying these longs. It was our trade of the day yesterday. We did quite well on it, buying some of these bottoms and getting out multiple dollars there. But right here, it's coming into this area of concern again, 39.70. So I do have a bid here to get some long if we can. It looks like we will be able to get that. So, whoa, maybe we weren't. I was bidding literally 39.70 there, comes down to 39.71 and misses us, but I think we can still get this on the way back in, and then we'll wait to see. I'm looking at this 39.50 as a possible holding spot there, as now we are into AMC, and again, we add liquidity, we just sit there, let it run us over and get paid. You know, you get paid about $2, and so depending on the gateway that you use per 1,000 shares, so we get that money. It's small, $2, like who cares, but you still get some money manager fees, and then now we'll wait to see. Yesterday, you know, we had this break of 39. I want to see if that happens one more time. We'll look to test that. But guess what else is happening right now? Hello, hit the cowbell. Let's go upside with AMD. Look where we're long. 131.15. This is $1 in the money on AMD as the best just keeps getting better. And a nice little move upside right here. I mean, if you're not long AMD, then I don't know. I mean, it's been going nuts for the last little while. I think this is a very great play for Metaverse for a lot of different reasons. We've talked about that over and over on the show. That's brother NVIDIA still making big time moves as well. We reloaded our Fisker. It's now come back in a little bit for us. So we'll take a bid here at 90 if we can. We reloaded it. So here we go, man. So far, so good. The only misstep that we had today was Palantir that came all the way back in. We just took it at O's again, and it went to 10. We'll put an offer there to get out of like 20%, and then we'll see if we can't get back into this area, 25, and make some of this cash back. What up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, I just wanted to bring up NVIDIA. It's strong today, and it's up more than 4%. I heard you touched on it a little bit, but guys, do you see any opportunities in NVIDIA for yourself today?
Like today is one of those, like, if a tech stock had been lagging or slow after Jerome helped us out, it's a good play. And then on top of that, remember, this is Qualcomm. Like Qualcomm basically said, hold my beer. So the stronger, well, I shouldn't say stronger names in the play, but some of the stronger names that had been lagging, which, whoops, that's not split adjusted, which maybe not be NVIDIA's case, can start to get a bit of a bump. So you're going to see a tech boom, and Qualcomm's going to end up leading it, a chip boom, and Qualcomm's going to end up leading that charge, which, by the way, I mean, in terms of a trade for NVIDIA, you know, this is not split adjusted. You're breaking out to highs, so you're not going to have levels. Otherwise, I mean, it's playing pullbacks, hold on to shares. I mean, I've never sold a share. I don't know how you do it on a stock like this. But Qualcomm does have a break, which could be coming up here, and it's at 160. 159.60 is the current high. It's making a lower high right now. It has the potential for a bit of a break at that even dollar range. You held a double bottom at 155 right off of the open. There's some wicks lower than that, but for the most part, it's held that level nicely, consolidating higher, setting up for a break. So while it's led the charge and is up 14%, it's showing some signs of a top that we can take advantage of. Moderna is still holding this 285 bottom, so it sits in the money about $7 or $8. I wish I had the short at 300. I don't. I had played off of that 95 level instead. And Pets was able to get the short pop. Some more shares when it failed at that 420 or shy of 420, and then back in when it got back below 4. So if it comes down to 350, 360, I want to be taking shares out just like we did before, Brendo.
Okay, Skills, guys, the next one on the earnings parade here, down about 10%. However, just had a volume alert there going back through 11. So I was kind of chopping around at 11. So we're trying to get back to the upside here for Skills.
Yo, Dominic, what's up? I mean, we don't plan on ignoring anybody's super chats, but I don't know. I mean, the threat of it being your last super that you pay for because we ignore it. I mean, believe me, we're not ignoring anybody here on purpose. We talked about Fat BB yesterday, Fat Brands, and now today it's halted. It's reopening. It's doing all these dances. So, you know, we'll get to that at some point. This is earnings season, Dominic, honestly, and it's like we want to go over a lot of these names. I mean, I'm in 4 positions. Neil's in something similar, so we will get a look there at FAT. I don't think you're in that yet. Are you?
No, I mean, I briefly went over it saying that the volume was like, be very, very careful because it get halted 16 times yesterday. And again, look, I just don't think this is like, the most, well, I don't think it's the most investable name. Let's be honest with it. And you start to look at some of these ranges that it's put in before. So be very, very careful. Like I said, if you come back to yesterday's action, it gets pretty interesting when it gets above this 1920, right? Because that's where, when it broke that high and rejected 25, you actually had some price discovery between 19 and 25. So it gets into that range. I think it could slow down a little bit until it gets there. Unless you're playing, just like the stair step halt, get out, get in, get out, take your profit. It probably digs in at that 20 level and maybe volume comes into it. It was and to be honest, like Lightspeed was a late entry for me. And a lot of times when that happens, like you just sort of see an opportunity and it kind of pulls you away from some of the things you thought you might be trading that morning. And the fact that Lightspeed even broke that 70, like I was like half like saying to, I think Marlon in the chat, like, I don't know, man, like if Lightspeed next could get to that 68, like this cluster here, I think you could find a bit of volume. I didn't actually think it was going there. Let's be honest about it. And then it did, right? So here we are. Here's Lightspeed. I probably got in a bit early, but I wanted to see it retake that 70. It's now done it. If it gets to VWAP, you're talking 72.60, and that's a couple of bucks, let alone testing back into the 75 area. It ain't filling this gap. But if it can fill in at least the gap from the bottom break at 75, 76, that's a great trade. But I will start covering some in front of VWAP because, I mean, it's down 27%. You get a bounce in something like that, you got to take some profit, which I've been ignoring. Brendo?
Individual crypto-related stocks just popping up here, guys, on the volume scanner once again. I'll show you Bitfarm, BITF, beginning of the week. They reported pretty good October numbers for mining, I should say. BITF, though, off to the races here, 10%, just made a day high on volume, guys.
I'm trying to see what you're saying there, David. What did Elon tweet? Is Floki on your radar? Oh, as a coin? I mean, there's a lot of coins on said radar, but we'll have to wait to see specific ones. There's a few other names. I will come and talk about those in a bit. So let's just keep trading right now as we're looking to get into some of these equity names here, as most traders right now looking at equity. Okay, so 39.70, we did take that bid down there. So we got an average price now of 60. This was, again, we buy 70s and then buy 40s. So again, this was a third of the shares that we bought right there because we were waiting for 30. I mean, again, like, where's my bid is at 39.15. Like, I have no idea how that got missed there on this dark pool. So I should have got hit there. I don't know what happened, but anyways, we take that 39.40 and go right back up to the upside. Now we're 15 cents in the money, a whopping 15 cents in the money there for AMC, and we'll see if we can go higher. I think our first target here would be somewhere near VWAP. So if we can get a 40 print, we'll do that. We'll take 40 cents on it for a third. We'll just go a third out if we can on this one. I'm trying to do that. Like, I used to try to do like 5 times 20%, but then you don't have as much on when something like this happens, when you have AMD, and we still have a third on AMD. So there it is, man. AMD, another one. Let's just keep on hitting the home runs on this name every single day. I mean, I keep logging into my account and like, oh my God, I can't believe like how overweight now we are in AMD, but there's nothing we can do. It just keeps on going up. And you want to talk about a name that we have that keeps on going up that we haven't traded yet today? I just passed it. It's NY, Sean. Ford goes all the way to 1930 there. Again, I probably will, just on valuation, get out maybe another 5% here today. It's, like I said, when this was at 14 or 15, when they came out with earnings, they got $1.80 per share. I said that I realistically think 18 to 20 is a good level for Ford. And that was just a couple days ago when we were talking about that at 16, 17. So now you're right up here, a beautiful move. Obviously, we have a lot of talk here with Ford because Rivian is apparently coming, or not apparently, is coming next week. Ford has a piece in that, as does Amazon. The street very, very excited about Rivian, as am I. I want to buy some of that. And there goes, here we go. So finally, a little bit of a cowbell here as Palantir, there it is. We take that out at 26.24 there. And damn it, as that was happening, I said to myself, like, this is going to be a mistake getting out. Like, I sat there and looked at it. You guys saw that with me, but I didn't trust that this could go lower into here. So we give it up there. We buy it back. So we give up that, like, we got out there at 90. We bought back at 02. So we gave up 12 cents. Damn it. Now it's right back up to the upside. Happy with the trade. Not happy with the net on it, though. What's up, Brendan?
QS. Watch QS again today, guys. Just popping up on volume there. Nikola as well, another earnings name from this morning. Just coming back to day highs here. Nikola up 7% today. They also said in their report they're going to reserve $125 million to fund potential settlements with the SEC for NKLA.
Yeah,
well, we definitely, so as you say it there, Brent, of course, breaking the high of the day is at QuantumScape, so I was looking for the top break. I got it. I'll take some out in front of 33. As much as Lightspeed gave me the bounce and was able to scalp some out there, of course, it's on the New York Neal, and was able to scalp some out there, I need ludicrous speed, not light speed at this point. We need to get back above VWAP and get to 74. If you know that reference, then I love you guys. This Fat B, someone asked, why does it open up and then just immediately halt? It's on 500,000. There is 500,000 shares of volume. There is no liquidity, right? So because there's just nobody for, I guess, anyone caught short or whatever it might be, anyone that's trying to cover a short position or buy it, there's no liquidity on the offer when it opens. So it moves that 5-10% or that 10% in a heartbeat. Like, you just choose through any offer that's there. That's why I talked about being careful and sort of waiting for myself. Like, I look to pay for shorts. We actually don't even have any locate to this thing. But then you look to see where price acceptance was, which is up at 20 to 25. So if you're in the long, maybe that's a place you can think about taking some profit out. If you haven't been already, which I, of course, always strongly suggest you should. We're 1 minute away from Cassava Sciences opening up. 10 a.m. resumption is what we saw on the board, so that's what we should see. Someone asked, what way are we going in pets? Should say there, yeah, I am shorted. I've only done it twice. It's off that 4 level. I kind of missed an opportunity to add it in front of that 420. It did make that roll over, and I got more shares on the south side at 4. It's been holding 345, 350, so I keep taking some out here to make sure that we're banking some profit on the way in. QuantumScape can't seem to follow through just yet. So that break did happen. With QuantumScape, you got to give this bad boy some room. Oops. There's your chart there. So I want to quickly show you guys that was a break on the daily. You have the 50 period right here at 33. I want to scalp some out in front of that 33 because I think when it breaks it, not 50, when it breaks the 200 period, that's another, it's an even dollar, it's a 200 period. That's a place where you might think about adding, or then if it rejects that level, buying on a dip, and then it can continue the breakout through that 33 level on QuantumScape. Big runner yesterday. It's up only 3% today, but it's got some serious room between this 33 area and then where you had this other peak here at about $40. So, QuantumScape, I think it's worth that shot. And Moderna, almost reload time.
Oh, shoot. What the hell's going on right now with Fisker? So Fisker, we just got reloaded in there right now. Just noticing that this is a red mark here today on my board. So we'll wait to see here. Obviously, we just got out some more Palantir. Sava just opened up there. So we'll see what that's going to happen right here. Okay, so it probably halts again coming up soon. 74, 75. We'll see where it goes. But there goes Sava. A nice little move to the upside here. 57 up to 75. Brendan brought us that news. If there's anything else comes through, we will talk about that. But on a daily chart here, Sava, now that we know some levels to talk about, I guess you're just waiting for an 80 break, I guess. But there it is, a pop upside up to 78. I know Neil's on it, so what's up?
Yeah, I mean, like everything that I said mistakenly when we got that one word wrong. Look, and first of all, don't rely on somebody else. That's absolutely pie in my face and inexcusable that I just simply rely on Brendan when I could read it myself. Let's be real about that for a second. But everything I said, think the reverse of that. Shorts trapped, all that other nonsense. It's now halting to the upside. I want to see if I can get some shares on this halt. Can I get some more? Can I get some more? Sorry, guys. I'm on the bid here trying to pick up some 79, 58s. I got some. Yeah, I was able to get some shares there on that. I did have it like right when it immediately took that 50 level. So I had some shares at 75 that I scalped out for a couple of bucks. Now I got some more shares to the long side here on that halt. So 79.58 is where it did. My average price a little better than that because obviously I had some before that I was still holding on to in case it ran. Should be a volatility halt, 5 minutes. We'll open right back up here. And then you got the daily chart. It's nothing but air, baby. Above that 70 level. I mean, it's not completely air. I guess 86. I mean, I guess round number 100,
let's just
right?
Go,
like
man.
Let's go. See what happens.
Yeah, let's just go. We're into this name as well. We took the bid on there. You were able to get it, but yeah. I mean, it looks nasty up here buying this price, but we'll see where it goes. We're gonna get out of half as it goes through right now. Okay, so a nice, we did take a play here on Ethereum. It's just starting to rip up right now as well. So we buy this place right here on Ethereum, fit 20s. It's into the 30s right now. We'll see how much higher it goes. You got to be very careful, obviously, when you're playing with this fire here on Ethereum. But that's another play that we have. So Sava, we're waiting for that one to open up. What's up, Brendo? Happening now at the big screen.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets. Here we go. Nicely positive for the NASDAQ there. The 100 actually leading the way. It's rare you see, that big of a difference there. 0.7, 0.5 for the composite. The S&P 0.3, the Dow absolutely flat. The Russell about 0.5% to the upside. We'll flip over to a few things we were talking about in the pre-market here. Roku, one of those. Yeah, what a move off the open there, straight back to the upside, but struggling back below 300 once again for Roku. So it did come in the entire way. If I can flip over one more time. There we go. Zillow, same story. Did give you a move off of the open, but all the way back to basically where it started for Zed as well. Guys, back over to you.
Just joking that like if Sava hadn't halted, I was probably a little bit too aggressive on the bid. Like I would have gotten lit up. And again, it's one of those things where we like that play. There's a lot of air on that stock. So it's going to open up. It's 5 or 10 minutes, by the way. So if it doesn't open up in 5 minutes, that means it's 10 minutes. Obviously, I think that goes without saying. But I'm saying it anyways. That's weird. Moderna reloaded at this 95, the original price I would have liked. If it busts through VWAP here, that's a good sign. If it holds VWAP, I got to think about covering some because it's probably going to test 30. So Moderna, I like the rinse and repeat. But last time I took some shares out at 91 to be on the conservative side. It is down a ton. And look, here's the other thing. Like 285 is close enough to 280, right? That I think playing the scalp game up here makes some sense. This puts in a higher low and it could absolutely fly on you. That light speed, as good as it, whoops. Why do I keep doing this? It's a New York stock, Neil. That light speed bounces off VWAP and comes right back in. It's a hard stop at 68. I'm not with the momentum on this play at all. This is a pure bottom pick at a level on the daily that I thought it was never getting to, and now here we are. Fat B must be a 10-minute halt, so it should be open up any second now, and then Cassava Science will wait for that reopen as well.
Yeah, we got to wait for that. Okay, so Fisker right now, it's getting close to where we're going to get out of this, man. It just keeps on going to the upside here. So again, a little bit of a mark on our record here today, which we don't like. But Fisker, we did take a nice play. Like I thought when this broke, we were going to the downside. I didn't even get out here. Like it went to 60. Like definitely should have got out when you're short at 17 on this play. But again, I was surprised. Like this is good for me. I mean, I have this position. We've been touting it for a while. Fisker, they come out with a report that I didn't really like as a shareholder, and we still go to the upside. So we're waiting for this to break here, like 80s, like 1780. Yesterday's kind of low there. If it takes it out, it takes it out. I'm not going to average into this one, but AMD guys. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. Like we talked about this. This is the time to be buying everything. I bought UiPath at 52.50. That's now 55, something like that. AMD. I mean, I could just talk about that for all day long. Qualcomm's coming back in a little bit now. Nvidia's still
guys,
up there.
down halt on Fat B. Down halt.
Down halt. So there you go. Yeah, shout out to Dominic for that call there as well, bringing that to our attention. It doesn't look like Sava right now. I don't know if the tap is going to be anything on this, but it says 80.20 right now. So that's not like very good. I mean, we halted at 79.58. Well, I'll take the print. Like, look, we're long. Any open up higher than this, we'll be very, very happy with the play. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it's going to be too crazy. But hey, I don't have the imbalance locator up. Maybe there is something. I could check it out right now. Hold on, I have the time here. It won't be a problem. Sort it by time. There's Sava. So it's a buy, but it's a very, very small buy. It's only 36,000 shares. So right now, that's not super interesting. A little bit nervous as we are long it, but we'll wait to see where it goes. Now, I wanted to do one more thing because we haven't talked about this in a while, so we'll hit the weed smoking song.
Where are those going?
No, it's not the weed. It's for AMC right now because right now this is blasting off, and if we do that, it may even go higher than this. So right now we are in the money now, 50 cents on this AMC call. This is sort of where we wanted it to go. There it goes. Now some upside moves on Sava, Neil. It's back open 85, guys. Wow, what a call that was, guys.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Give us some more. Give me some.
Wow, I'm up pretty huge on this name right now.
Let's go. So I held some there. I got the reopen, but then I did this, baby.
Accident.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
And again, we talk about layer.
Yes,
that's what we do.
sir.
We rattle it up. I take some out on the reopen. But
I got out by accident.
The mistake that we made on that, and we talked about this, the mistake that I made the other day when I caught the top on CAR was getting too many shares out on the reopen. So I said I was going to reverse course in the future because that game is too overheated.
What a day to be
I'm now
alive.
holding through this one, right? So it holds them through. I'm holding these 79.50s.
I cannot believe I
think
got
$100. Let's think about $100 at this particular point. There's likely a short on this trade at some point, but it's either at 100 or 125. Or a down halt. Like that's the way you gotta start thinking about it. So
guys,
there was a play about just taking it in and out at the open from the close to the open and reversing course from that. We talked about it in the trade of the day that was no longer the way that we wanted to do things, and it pays off here.
Yeah, it sucks that I got out. I mean, I absolutely destroyed that stock. I mean, that was, I was telling Neil, like I had more shares than I wanted to there. Not that I wanted to, I got what I wanted, but I wasn't sure about it. I had an offer out there at 85, meant to get out of half, man. And we unfortunately got ran over at 85 there. So we take the opening print there for some shares, which wasn't that great. Like I said, it was about $1 and change. That was good. But then we just started to blow up and we got out 85, 86s there. But that last out was a mistake. I would love to be in that situation. We were holding that. So we're out of it. Great trade, but we cleaned it, guys. We absolutely, I mean, let's just
money.
Okay, let's move on. And we talked about this with Greg. Like I went and got a coffee with Greg a couple, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was when DWAC was going crazy, and we were talking about, you know, when to take halts and when not to take halts and things like that. I really like it when it's the first time halting, especially on news like that. I mean, I know Neil and I were long, and I hope you guys were as well. I actually bought some PayPal in the pre-market today and was lucky enough to get a 230 bid. So we'll wait to see where it goes now. It does. Or sorry, not in the pre-market. We just got filled, sorry, on 230. So we just got a 230 fill, and you know it came in. Now it's up to 230.95. We'll see where that goes from there. Our Fisker, I mean, it's still tempting us, man. 1780. We're gone on. I mean, now honestly, I don't even. Like just to put into perspective here, and I know we don't talk about nets, and I won't give you my net here, but like I'm going. Let's just say Fisker goes up and breaks 1780. That's going to be 20% of the money that I made on that Sava trade. So that, just to give you guys an idea of where we're talking about. Okay, AMD right now up to 133 and change. It's near its high right now, so you got to watch out for that. We may just get out of this trade. It's a monster trade for me. This is a $2 winner. We are rocking and rolling. Like obviously I'm up more money, almost up more money today than I was up yesterday, and it's 10 o'clock. So really super happy with the way stocks are performing for us. We took that. I mean, look at AMC, guys. This is also 90 cents in the money. I mean, buy, out, and we're still ripping higher now. Palantir, I mean, one of my favorite stocks there. What's up, Palantir investors? Thank you to my man, Trader Prad, for the hat. I got to hit you back for that. Nice move upside, 26.50 right there. Unfortunately, we took that out. That's just us trying to be responsible. I think we did a good job, but at the same time, it looks like a horrible job because it just rips to the backside. But then we give it back up. We make some back there as we buy 26s. So really, that's like a 15-cent misstep. Get out, buy it back, let it rip up to the upside.
Sava's still a small buy and balance this time.
I'm super excited for that. That's
just so pets, I'm still in. It's barcoding again off of $3. This is a $2.40 stock. I mean Chinese pet retailer up on air. Consolidate lower short. I mean, that's kind of a simple game. So that's what we do. Pets we have, and then the other one, which I'm not. Look, we're not ignoring other things here. And apologies, I know. We are. But QuantumScape, load. It continues that breakout. It gets to that 33. I did anticipate when it got to the 200 period, it would pull back. It did not. Now we're continuing the break. I have an offer in front of 35, so that continues to work for us. I reloaded Moderna, scalped them out, and now holding the rest of that through. And Fat BB, we'll just call it Fat, because the name of the company's Fat, right? So it's.
I think it's a good name, yeah. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, go to Brendo. I can't even.
Yell, guys. Ticker of the day goes to YELL, 24.5% off of earnings as well. Just made a day high on decent volume through 11 there. This is Yellow Corporation. Yell.
Obviously.
Oh, wow. Fat
it's funny, like when we go to Brendan, like we're supposed to pay attention, but we just sit here and talk about some of our trades because we can't. It's hard for us to go over some of these names when we're actively trading them. But I just said to Neil that I told him I was really happy for him that he held a small piece. Obviously, we can say that. I mean, we're not holding the whole piece for this move, but I was trying to hold, honestly, the 20% of that, and we did get ticked out there. So a nice move. You wanted it, Mike. What's up, Mike? By the way, this is my first day without not wearing your dunks. I'm back in my high top Air Force Ones, and I want to get more shoes from you, man. Okay, $90 right there. That's where we're tapping. So you asked about the tap. Can you guys blow this up a little bit, Lucas, my man? There we go. Yeah, so it's $90 right now on the tap. So you asked for it, Mike, so you're going to get it. And then one more time right here. I actually don't see. Oh, I'm like, I don't see it. It's right there. So this is the same bid as last time. Oh, there it is. So it's going to open up soon. 26,000. It just keeps bouncing. There it is. So there's a 91 open, guys. Congratulations. 92 and still moving higher here on Sava News.
Yeah, I mean, FATB opened up. It got to that 25 area. It's going crazy. I'm thinking halt one more time. I'm thinking 100 at this particular point. I'm only holding on to the last little bit. There's nothing else to do. I mean, it's going to go to 100 right now. And again, you know what?
This could.
I'm ringing the Reggie. I'm going 100.
Yeah,
like,
man.
forget about it. Like at this particular point, I always feel like you got to take profit, and if it's too early, I almost don't care. That's fine. Fat B, I just double checked to see if there's any locates for us because it just got up to that 25 level. Yeah, you better believe it. Somehow the quote for the price went down and there's still no available shares on Fat B. So I don't even know if anybody can try shorting it. If you did, you've been losing. It got to 99 on Sava here and then turned around. Now I didn't just immediately jump into the short because I think that's reckless. Halt down or 100 was what I liked because I was still in the long. That means take it out. It doesn't mean immediately jump into the short. If it retests and cannot break 100 or fail breaks 100, I would take a shot at the short in that regard. But wow, Cassava Sciences. Brendo.
Yeah, go ahead, Brendo.
Alzamed, guys, appears to be catching a bit off of this as well. This Cassava Sciences, this is another company that's working on brain disorder of multiple kinds, brain disorder treatment. So ALZN, big volume coming into that one now.
You know what's funny? Do you mind if we talk a little bit about our net? I won't say the numbers. But Neil, me and you are dollars away from how much we made on Sava. I just want to say, like, you can trade it however you want to, but I think that was an opportunity, Neil, where we should be adding Ks. Like, it should be a multiple $1,000 opportunity there on that halt. I just feel like that was the news.
Yeah, I got one of 5 bids, unfortunately.
That's what I mean.
And
like,
so,
there was so much opportunity
when it goes into
there.
that halt state, like, there's certain gateways that'll fill. Dark will fill, Edge A will fill, Bat Y, Boss X. So those are the ones that tend to fill first.
Yeah.
And if you get the right one, if you put everything in and you get that one fill, fair enough. I tend to go along the lines of putting multiple bids in on all the gateways and then hope to get one.
Yeah.
And sometimes that approach is good because you get shares, and other times you miss out on what might be a better fill. So we'll see. I mean, the next time through, if I guess right, fair enough. I can't figure out which dark pool gets the fills. We have tons that we have available.
You have no idea. I mean,
and I don't know which one gives. We have if I showed you.
I mean, I can.
There's so many of them on our board at Day Trade the World, and who knows which one's going to give you that opportunity. I can tell you, while all this was going on, there is a dog out here, and it's Lightspeed. Lightspeed barely holds 68. It breaks 60, I'm out of this thing, man. I tried the bottom pick. It got one leg here at VWAP. If this isn't the bottom holding at 68, I don't even want to average in at this point. It doesn't feel like it wants to catch a bounce. So unfortunately, nothing to do about Lightspeed. I think it's too far, too fast, but sometimes you just got to wait a couple of days for things to settle down. And that seems like it's the case.
Mike saying Boss X, baby. Yeah, okay, so he must have got
I didn't check to see what I got.
Shout out to you, Mike, there. Like I said, hit me up some DM, man. I want to get some more shoes. Now, you've created me into like one of these, I don't know, what do you call them, like, right now, so Sava right now dipping down. I was going to show you guys, wow, we're right back to almost, this is going to halt down, Neil. I'm not taking this halt down, but it is going to, are you taking it? This is going to halt to the downside. I'm going to wait, but you can see, look at all these Ds. There's a B, there's Boss X right there, Mike. Some more Ds, some more Bs, things like that. So this is going to halt to the downside. I'm not going to take this, but that was a good opportunity. There's another B right there, some Cs, some Qs, which is NASDAQ. That's a paid gateway, so someone's paying people.
So if you guys remember what happened in CAR, because I took the halt down in CAR, and I feel like had I not been in the halt down, I would have better capitalized on the move. And I'll show you what I mean if I kind of can. You know what? The 1 minute. If I can go the 1 minute far back enough for you. Let me do this. Please work.
Let him do it.
So I had this short at 481.50 on CAR, and then this is the mistake that led me to the change here on Sava was it opened up at 499. So I took out half and lost $20 worth of gross on what should have been a $100 winner, and that completely blew the trade. So that's why I wanted to hold more here. And the reason why I don't like the halt down as much is because it opens up and then retests. If you've got the halt price, it skews your thinking. You're sort of anchored to the price that you get. But if this reopens on Sava, holds the obvious resistance point. In this case, in CAR, it was 500. In Sava's case, if I can quickly work, thank you very much for work.
It worked.
It worked. That's amazing. So I can now go back to the first day. There you go. So if it now does that same obvious move, it would be opening here. It can break that whole price at 88, hold like 90, let's just call it, and then instead of being short at 85, maybe you're short and it tries to get through 90 and you're short at 87 or 88 off that 90 level. It's just an easier trade to work from a risk to reward standpoint. It does require you to be fast on the keys, and if you took the halt, you're already in that bad boy, so there's lots of things that can go right for you there. But I want it to reopen. If it cannot take 90, I want to jump into a short at like 88, 87, and then have a 90 stop. If it breaks that, your only other level is 100. Something else just came out for me. It has to be, did I get this? No, I didn't get it out of something else. Forget about it.
I did want to say a shout out to Phi Fam there, I believe, anyways. I mean, if I'm mispronouncing you, it's my bad on that one. But thank you so much for the $20. And honestly, man, like the fact that you made money there is fantastic. Someone said, and then said, can you hint at some zeros that were on my position? Yeah, at least 2. So there you go on that one. And it was just a great trade. Shout out to my wife, Marissa. Just said great trade on Sava. So thank you for that as she's sitting there watching the show. But thank you for that. So here's NASDAQ right now. And I just want to show you, look at AMD first of all. Let's spin this, man. I'm more proud of AMD than I am of Sava. So you guys can talk about Sava all you want. I love that name too, as that's a big money maker. But I'm $2.50 in the money on AMD. So think about that as well. So here's NASDAQ. This is through Day Trade the World. Like I said, I'm proud to work here. I've worked here for 22 years, something like that now. Ever since I graduated university, which is dating myself there. But this is what I'm proud at. Like we have all these gateways, and it's going to be hard for you to see, so I understand that. But there's like the Barclays dark pool, right? There's Block Trades. There's Bank of America's dark pool. There's so many. CCG. We have a Credit Suisse dark CSD there. There's a dark router right there that we have as well. That'll try to go to Fidelity right there, right? Whoopsies, not Jane Street Capital, but we have Jane Street there as well. We have okay, Memex. That's Morgan Stanley right there. There's some also one like NASDAQ. We have there's NQBX. You're talking about BossX there as well. Nighthawk that will search out for some dark pools. There's so many. Retail Liquidity, Super, Spider, UBS, Warburg dark pool. So anyways, needless to say, when you see some Ds going through, there, we do have access to those pools, and some of them do have share minimum, share maximum. So what I would say is that if you are part of the Day Trade the World family, you made 7K on Sava. I mean, look, the $5 is nice. We'll throw that over to Valeria there. Get some nice.
I'm calling you Brooklyn, from what I can tell.
I want to throw it over. I mean, when we're ready, man, let's throw over to Valeria because I want to give her the ability to shout out some of these super chats. As I know, a lot of you don't want to see us. You've been seeing us for a little while, so let's throw over to Valeria when we get a chance. And on that note, we'll do Superman Valeria right here because there it is, man. Look at Palantir, another big one. 50 cents in the money on this. Too bad I lost 25 cents there, but that's a big move upside for Valeria. Valeria, kill him with kindness.
Hey, Sean, indeed, we received so many super chats saying thank you for you guys bringing up Sava. And I'm super happy to see you guys having a profitable day. Keep up the great job and good luck, community. And by the way, we would really appreciate if you smash the like button. Back to you guys.
People making 16,000, 7,000. Blah, blah, blah. Everything. Affirm. AMD. Oh, my God. Yeah, you're right. Did you mean AMG there, Elliot? But thank you, Ms. V and Neil.
What I'm doing Affirm?
Yeah, we don't have Affirm, but you know who always trades Affirm?
Pratt usually shorts Affirm. Double top, baby. Pratt, you got to have. I'm sure he's.
Oh, no, don't call him out because now if he doesn't
have yeah, that's my bad. Well, trader formerly known as Jude. I mean, that's a nice double top on Affirm there. And again, I was trading Affirm often, but if it's a Moderna day for me, that means it's not an Affirm day. Usually one big cap for that kind of like a short trade idea. And today, if it wasn't Moderna, I don't know what it would have been after those earnings.
I'll do this Brendan pop. Pop. This is my new favorite thing. This is like, Rob doesn't do much good around here, but this was pretty good. There it is, a nice little pop to the upside there.
Where is Rob?
130. Who knows where he is? Okay, so 130. No, we're hating on Rob because I think it's like part of the show at this point, right? Okay, so 134.10. I mean, what is Brendan? Do we have? I mean, this is just the NASDAQ going up 1%. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know why AMD is going like this, but we have a 131 bid, and even yesterday, man, even during Fed, I was like, Prad. If there's any problem, because we're teaching Prad's asking for advice, and he's been amazing. What a growth story he is. So 131.13 there. Buy the best names. I mean, that's all you have to do. Look at what's been happening here. We also gave you, shout out to myself again, as I always do that. Tesla down to 1230. It's coming back in again, man. This 1225 is held. But I just want to tell everybody, I'm not going long here. The fact that it's held like this and the NASDAQ's up 1%, in my opinion, Tesla, the way it's been trading, should be up more than this right here. So I don't know. Tesla may break this 1225. I'm not going to short it, but just very, very much watch out. This is not, at this point, guys, not a position to load up on there. We may just get out of this AMD. I don't know, man. We're up 1% or more than 1% on this name, 2.5%, $3 now on this. 50 cents back on AMC. We did get out of that. Thanks for that advice there. Some people on the chat. And things starting to pull back in, including Palantir. So the only mistake we have today, unfortunately, is dumping that Palantir a bit too early and then trading this Fisker as we thought it was a negative Nancy, but it looks like it's ripping to the upside, which we're happy about. Over at the big screen, though, I guess I talked too much there. What's up with Brendan and PETZ? He brought us this name.
Hey guys, yeah, busy day in small cap world as well. Let's start with PETZ. I mentioned this just before the open. This high here was 450, and then above that, you got to go back to early on this morning. 5 and then 510 was a bit of an area on the daily chart as well. Never comes into play. It does get a bounce into 4, fails miserably. This is now 3. I zoomed out a little bit on this to show you this level from aftermarket yesterday. There is support going down to 280 here, so I'm going to be out of this in front of this level, 280 to 3. There's a bit of an area. You can see it popping back up. So they're buying it around 3, it would appear, for PETZ. Ocugen, great fade yesterday. Same story today. Did get a test of 1150, which was the low right at the end of the day yesterday. Off the back, gave you an opportunity. I had offers layered all the way up to 13, so I didn't believe in this move at all. So much so that I just got back in again. We're back to day lows here for OCGN. Continues to fall apart as it did yesterday. DBGI, another one that gave you a great opportunity off 490 and 5. This one all the way back to 4 for DBGI, guys.
Don't touch the screen, Brendan. No, I'm just whatever. I'm just kidding.
Wow, Neil. Wow.
I'm just kidding. I see people saying it in the chat. It's like a habit thing, right? It'd be cool if it was a touch screen. We've actually been saying that, by the way. It'd be cool if it was a touch screen. Fat BB is halted to the downside, and much like Sava, it's not always that complicated. High yesterday at $25. $25 is a round number. It gets back up to 25. That's where price discovery was before. So it halts downside at that level. I would be involved in this one if we had locates. We do not. I keep checking, and we don't have shorts on this, so I don't really know what the rest of the street or what other people can do. So if you can short it, fair enough. Like I said, tread lightly, but 25 was the only price I liked. This is me looking to gift horse amounts in Cassava Sciences. I thought that would go to 35, double top at 34. Now it's pulling back into 33. It held here before. I should zoom in for you guys. It held here before at about 32.5. As long as it holds that level, I think it can get back to the top, but I'm going to go ahead and do that and pop the order in front of that 34 and just go ahead and see if we can't take something in this. There it goes. Take something in this cluster here at a lower high. So if we can get back, I'll take the win on that one. Sava is a obviously 10-minute halt. If it's not 5, it's 10. If it's not 10, it's nonsensical or news. And it's not a news halt. It's if they do that, by the way, and I'll say it again, if they do this nonsense where instead of a 10-minute halt, they just keep holding it till it plummets, and then it gets halted for like 30 to 40 minutes and opens up at like $65 or $70. That would be disgusting. I think that should never happen, but we have seen it before. I think it was the day DWAC and Fun were going crazy, and they just decided to hold one for like 40 minutes, but it should be 10 minutes, like I said.
I mean, the good thing about it is that, I mean, we talked about, I mean, I hope people aren't too long. We were talking about, you know, why we didn't want it, why we were happy with getting out there at that 100 level there at the top. It came back in, halted the second time, ripped up. You know, this is now the third halt. I was just going to say it's tapping 78, but there it is, Neil. Just opened up there. So that would have worked. It did open, yeah, it did open.
Oh, that would have worked.
Would have worked. It would have been better than the long, to be honest. I mean, not better if you held it, but the move initially there, you're going short there at 85, right? We're like, oh, we don't want this. Oh. It opened up, guys, 79. So that was a $6 winner to the bottom there. So yeah, alert, alert, alert on anything now. Sava's, to me now, is kind of like an open book. Like, I don't know where we're going to go from here. It's kind of like I'm reading it for the first time here, because if it halts to the upside, am I going to go long? Like, I just saw a $7 downtick there on that halt. So, you know, not worth me throwing back what we've already made on this name. I'm super, super happy with it. I'm pissed off that I got out. I mean, I only had 20% sitting there, but still, I would have loved to have ridden that all the way to the upside, especially into that second halt there. Would have got some out on that open probably anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, you know, 94, 95, that could have been a monster winner. I'm going to stay away from Sava for now. But you know what we're not doing, man? We just tweeted it out. And basically, I just, you know, hopefully you guys can follow me if you want. If not, that's cool. But, you know, this was the thing. Like, I just tweeted this out. Lesson time. Like, always try and buy the best names when you see them moving, right? We've been trading AMD for days now. And so that buy at the bottom, like, it just makes a lot of sense to me to do that. And I think that, you know, when you are making these kind of plays, Like look at this, up 3, like that's not even a huge day for AMD, 3%. We could go a hell of a lot higher than this, and we're still long at 131. So here we go, man, $4 now in the money. Did we take some profit at pre-market highs? Yes, we did, but it was still $1, and we talked about holding a third of our trades, right? So we used to hold 20%, we bumped that up, and we always talk about, just changing up your game plan a little bit. If things are working for you, ride higher with shares. Ride your decisions a little bit more. And we've done that with AMD, and we're super happy with it. So there goes AMD to the top side. I did put an out, man, 133.50. I'm going to revisit that. Obviously, I'm canceling that stop order. We may have to go 134.50. This stock is a rocket ship. There's no levels higher than this. So we kind of got to try to use some kind of analysis. Maybe 134 flat to get out right there. I don't know. Let's let this keep on riding up. I don't even want to take this out.
And if you're keeping count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 halts now on FATB. So it's halfway to yesterday's total, if I'm counting it right from yesterday, but to the downside once again. So this is the one that actually I think if we'd had locates, I would have taken that down haul because it actually was off that 25, which I like better for short than Sava. Sava, if you just done the trade, that was gigantic if you had it. Brendo.
Harbor Custom Development Corporation just popping up here. HCDI on big volume. Looks like they approved a larger share repurchase program. They actually reported earlier in the week as well. So HCDI having a couple of day run here.
So I'm going to get, was that Shopify?
No, Etsy's up 16%.
Oh, Etsy.
But I'll check Shopify.
I do love Shopify. I want to buy some Shopify. I'm going to buy it no matter what now. I got to rotate out of some Canadian stocks anyways.
No
well, I mean, I don't hold that many. I hold some banks. I hold that Nuvea. Shout out to Goldman if he's on here as well. That's NVEI. That's also tradable on the U.S. side. They double listed. They're dual listed recently. Look, I'm going to take this out at 134.50, man. I mean, it's at the 135. I may just take it out right there, 135. On AMD. This is to take a line that we always say, but I think Neil says a little more than me. You don't go broke taking profits. And if I kept doing it, and I'm glad we've got rid of that gift horse in the mouth thing. I haven't seen you hit that in a while, because if I took gift horses, I probably would have been out by now. But that's why I'm talking about holding on a little bit more, right? So that 135 looks pretty tasty there. We'll do a 134.50 out, but realistically, I think this 135 makes a lot of sense. Hopefully we break it, and then we'll switch our out to 135. But for right now, it's still going to the upside. That's a good one. Marlon told us all to buy shop. Yeah, well, hopefully you bought a lot of these names that a lot of us have said. Jude's given some good calls. I know we have as well. Speaking about good calls, let's see. TDOC was 136. We bought that at. I say we. I mean, I tweeted out. So if you're going to follow me, you can follow. But TDOC 152 right now. We just bought some more PayPal today, and then Nike was a good one. Okay, that's still 175. And then the most recent buy, one of our more recent ones, and shout out to Austin for bringing this to my attention again today. Nucor. We bought this at $95 right into this spot here. Feeling like Kathy Wood using some technical analysis, buying these dips right there. So we bought literally 95.50 or something like that. We have all the way up to 115. So it's making this double top, triple top, quadruple top one more time. Okay, there's Zillow finally breaking 70. Again, I left this order in there. If I did like it, we did have some 66 bids in there. They missed. But right now, Zillow back to the upside. We're going to give this one $1 worth of room to the downside now. This kind of day we're having, I can afford to lose $1 on this without even blinking an eye. What's up, Brendan?
Anyone watching energy stocks, just heads up here. We just had a big move down again, guys, in crude oil, 83 all the way back to 81.5. OPEC just out saying they're going to agree to stick to the plan of a 400,000 barrel per day output hike, not cut. So crude making its way back to the downside. It's 10:30. Let's get a quick check on how things are shaping up over in Europe, Miss V. We get a time change this weekend, so that means it's going to go back to 11:30 versus 12:30 this weekend.
Thank you for clarifying, Brandon. European markets are trading higher, following up with FAD. Commerzbank trading in Germany is up around 2% after reporting strong earnings. Back to you.
Nicely positive in North America as well. Once again, guys, some small caps. The Russell doing very well. 0.7 again today. It was more than a full percent yesterday. 0.45 for the S&P.
So speaking of this Moderna, by the way, it feels like it's churning back to the downside. So it was a good reload for now. And I think scalping some off was a good idea. I mean, it can't even get back to this 285 bottom. It's just going very, very slowly. The market screaming and being this strong is probably not helping it, any of these shorts. So as much as it's been a good one, I don't know if it can hang on too much longer. If you're looking at Sava, And again, if you don't have, like, if you didn't have the short at the top, which it didn't, if you don't have the short here, I'm not going to play with fire. Like, it's keep in mind what this stock was doing. It's gotten way off the bottom at like 40, 45. Someone asked, I think it was Emerging, was saying, why wouldn't it go all the way back to highs? Because regardless of this, it's still a ridiculously high risk name. So like, do I think it could? Like, could it go break 100 today and get to 120? Certainly possible. But the notion that it would automatically get there, the same way when you have, I guess, some of these names that, they might shoot up like 100% when a single drug gets a good trial. They don't give it all back necessarily in one print, or when they get a positive study, yada, 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 when they'd had a flush. You don't always fill in the entire gap because there's still risk down the line, and that's the case here. So the fact that it settles out in the middle, you don't try to pick. Like, to me, it's obvious, like at least somewhat obvious, that once you got to that first obvious resistance point at 100 psychologically, and then it was the support that absolutely cratered through here if you want to go back into August, I think that's the one level you could look at. If it were to break that, I think it's all, like 120, like I said, 120 to 125, because I remember this day. That made a lot of sense to me. And then everything in the middle is just all a bit of a crapshoot. So I don't know where the bottom would be here at this point. And I don't know what's top unless you get 100 or 125. So I'm going to stick to that. Fat B. If you're not out of this one and you took the long, I don't know what to tell you, right? Like 25 stuck out. It looks like it just opened up again, showing some more signs of weakness. Maybe it's caught a bit of a bid down at $17.75, but if that gets broken, this could be at $13 again. So watch out. And again, look, I mean, eventually, like so false allegations, sure, but it doesn't take the risk profile out of the stock. Whether the allegations were true or false, it's still a highly speculative name regardless.
I mean, just with that many halts, it's not tradable, because then all of a sudden your net is in control of like someone else that's putting in market orders and all this stuff. Like, unless you have sort of an inside look there, we'll do this. Look, we'll hit the bang, because it's $3.50 per share that we just took out on AMD, but we did get out there on that 134.50 break before it rips back to 135 as the NASDAQ cannot be stopped right there to the upside. But we did add to our tweet here that we just put out, and we said here, right here, guys, we took out the lastest position here on AMD. Bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered, right? And we put some nice little emojis there. But there it is there. Ooh, nice one, JC. I didn't see you just responded to this as well. 130 calls. Congratulations on that one. I mean, anybody playing some of these plays on calls making a lot of money, that is for sure. AMC right now, good movement here, obviously, to that upside here on AMC. So nice little movement, but we bought the 39 long. We did talk about that again. If you're this is blurred sticky note. I understand that. I'm not doing this on purpose. We can't. It's the lighting here. I can't do it. So follow me on Twitter. But right on here, man. 39, right? Look long 39. That's exactly what we said there for AMC. So guess what, man? We got long 39.40 and we got long 39.60. We did miss that dip by 10 cents, though. No, by 2 cents. Sorry, we're at 39.10. We missed that by a little. We were actually at 39.15. My order is still there. I don't know why that got missed there. There might have been something that just came in and, I don't know, dark pulled around me. Still shouldn't happen. Shout out to SEC Chairman Adam Gensler there. Maybe he should look into this. But there it is, a nice little move to the upside there for AMC, guys.
Yeah, they're too busy setting their sights on DeFi, I think.
Yeah, or on GameStop traders or AMC traders. Like, give me a
break. That report was...
give me a break.
Yeah,
these guys got to get paid,
for anyone that read that report on the whole GameStop fiasco, if you wasted your time doing so, like, there was a lot of time spent on telling you absolutely nothing. So anyways, that was... big waste of well, I guess we're not taxpayers.
Yeah,
anyway,
what are our
it wasn't our taxpayer. I mean, whatever. We
still pay.
Maybe you shouldn't get into politics.
I understand what you're saying, Neil. It's not our taxpayer money, but we pay an SEC fee.
Oh no, that's true. You're right. Actually, yeah.
I get dinged every freaking day.
We do pay.
On all
that,
of these trades. So do you guys. And if you don't know about that, and again, just comes with our years here in scalping and trading.
How are you going to remind me of that?
We know all the fees, right? And
I was about to be like, we're not paying for that.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know the fee. We can find it out soon, but it's a small fee. I think it's like $100 per million notional that you trade on the sell side, but there is a fee there. So all of your trades, you do pay a fee to the great SEC.
Oh, by the way, just I'm going to cancel my order, which I should. I always cancel breakout orders when something pulls back too far. I didn't do that here in the case of Qualcomm. So it gets to that 160. I guess that was a good level because the reverse is hard. Market's still churning to the upside. Qualcomm's still up 11%, but that 160 obviously a big psychological barrier. It's all the way back to that 150. Well, it's at 153 right now. 152.5, 153 area, which could be good for a bit of a dip buy. I'll let it base out a little bit. Some people are saying I should have reloaded in light speed because it's got a better base. Whoops, I did it again. It's on the New York Neil. I'm used to it being in Toronto, so Bear with me. It is in Toronto.
Yeah, exactly.
It is,
yeah.
but I mean, obviously, it is a better base here. Certainly, and I'll zoom in so you can. There you go. It's a better base. I got stopped out in this candle. When it broke 68, that was the level on the daily, so no surprise, I guess, that it held to 67 or that it went to 67 even. So you get a flush out, you get a double bottom. You're right, that's a better base. I probably should already be long at 68 even. If it comes back down and consolidates on a lower high, it can be worth maybe a second shot, but no need to rush into it. This is that time of day. It's now like, 10:30 to 10:40. You want the movers. If you're taking a bottom pick, you want to make sure you're getting a good price, not chasing it too far away from the top. So I definitely missed out on an opportunity on light speed, but it is what it is. You live to fight another day on those. I did get out of all of that pets, and sometimes it's like I've actually just tweeted this one saying sometimes it's just a boring trade. But you want to make sure you don't miss out on your favorite setups.
What is AMD?
And that's the pop and fail at 9:30 on one of these gap, consolidate lower, and then it gave you a second pop at 9:45 for the same play, and then it finds a bottom at 3 even. So that's about as, for a setup, it's as easy as it gets because you kind of know where your out is going to be. It rejected 420, so that was a 420 out. You try to get some at 4. I didn't get any at 413. Everything was below 4 even, and then it goes a clean dollar to 3. Will it go all the way to 237 where it closed yesterday? I have no idea. You know what's still in play? The NASDAQ's up 1.1%. The ES is up only 0.5%. And Tesla is still barcoding. So, 1250 is still in play for Tesla. It's slowly churning its way to the upside. And someone said something about, what about Pinterest today? What about it? The market's screaming and Pinterest can't get up. It's not bad. Up 0.5%, I guess, for Pinterest is pretty good lately. But this is what Pinterest looks like on your 15-minute chart. Until it breaks, and this is your level here, until it breaks 46.25, there's not much to see here. That's when it has a chance to really get going. And sometimes when a stock is getting crushed, allow it to break back up instead of just sort of sitting in it at the bottom, because if it breaks a leg lower, my daily chart doesn't want to load, if Pinterest breaks a leg lower, 35 is in play. That stock, their only chance was PayPal buying them. And I sort of said that the second the deal was official, I was going to sell my shares. I should have just sold it on the last I had on the rumor that they were going to be doing it, because it was a horrible deal for PayPal in my opinion. So I guess I don't know why I wanted to get bailed out of the last 10% of my Pinterest position. Brendo.
More earnings. Planet Fitness, guys, reported a decent report and forecast. So the sales forecast was much better than expected. Speaking of reopening type plays, PLNT up about 10%. It's trying desperately right now to hang out above this high, which is 90.5. Might end up failing, but it's tested it numerous times here at 90.50. So nice day for PLNT.
Oh, yeah, nice day for Prague, by the way. Prague at the high of the day. Another mover here, up 18%. There's a lot of small caps going.
There it is. AMD there. We put that graphic up there as AMD, man. Whatever. I just talked about being disciplined, and now we're getting barbecued on our discipline up because we took that out at 134.50. There's another dollar right there. So you want to talk about adding zeros to the back end of your net there? Give me a break. But anyways, I'm going to take $3 on the trade, 350 or whatever it was, but I'm still going to be upset at it. So I'm allowed to be upset. So, okay. One other trade. We're going to try to take some revenge here on Fisker again. And, you don't ever want to trade. Yeah, time to short AMD? No. It's time to punch myself in the face for getting out of it. But hey, I'm just glad to give you guys those wins. I'm really glad when I see people tweeting at me, look, I took options. I made a shit ton of money. I just made 17K on Asava, things like that. That's really, that's, to me, that's really great. So, we do this show for free here. So we're trying to educate, give some ideas, and hopefully have a little bit of fun. With that being said here, Fisker, I'm super pleased that we're only down 2%. I read the report. I thought that we were waiting for maybe an announcement that production was a little more on schedule. It's completely on schedule. So let me go back on that. Ahead of schedule. Hopefully, look, if they had announced that the Ocean was ready to go first half 2022, third quarter, but they didn't. They said we're on track for fourth quarter. So that should have been good enough news. I was hoping that we would get a bump up because of Lucid, and we saw how Lucid rocketed up when they reported that they were ready to rock and roll. So I thought the same thing could come through for Fisker. They're working on new battery technology. That was a good one. They're going to have 2 types of batteries. So we thought that was a short. That was a great short, breaking through 17. But then we averaged into that. We took a decent position and got out there. The money we made on Sava makes this look like a joke, but we're still going to go go short, and AMD, we're still going to go short on this one. So we'll see against this 1790. I still feel like almost like EV names are kind of like weed names. When you get a pop up on them here and the news isn't fantastic, I think there's a lot of selling opportunity for Fisker. So let's see if we can get back into 1750. We'll take a couple ducats off there, and then we'll wait, for a further move down. But the good thing about this one is well-structured trade for us. 1770 is the short. We're on that right now, and our out is only 20 cents higher, so we won't take a bath on these shares, that's for sure. But Brendan at the big screen with what looks to be a mixed board, considering the NASDAQ and the S&P are both rocking here.
Hey guys, yeah, we are definitely higher on the session. I can show you about 0.45 right now for the S&P. It's a continuing story that we've been talking about all week. A lot of earnings names kind of offsetting a lot of earnings names. The negativity coming from the middle here. This is the financials. This is the healthcare group. That's Moderna, 16.37% now to the downside for Moderna. There are a few here, including Merck having a nice day on that UK approval for the COVID pill. ZTS up 3% as well, but the healthcare group negative. Financial is also basically the entire group here in negative territory, helping to offset some strength coming from industrials positive on the day. I'll flip over to this side and I'll show you Penn, first of all, 9.5% there in the consumer discretionary group in negative territory. But retail strength today, 15.8% for Etsy, along with BBY, Amazon, Lowe's, ORLY, all nicely higher on the session. So really just Caesars and Penn here kind of offsetting an otherwise positive showing for consumer discretionaries. This is the tech sector, QCOM, and then above that QRVO, kind of offsetting each other, but the rest of the semiconductor group here in positive territory. NVIDIA, 6.5% on the day. The software names as well, CDAY, lower off earnings, CTXS offsetting that. So this is positive as well. Hardware equipment makers kind of flat. Overall, though, 0.4 for the S&P, all coming from consumer discretionary and tech shares. Guys, back over to you.
Somebody just asked, will Google break 3,000? Say more importantly, it already broke last week's top. So from a technical standpoint, it is breaking out. I get it, 3,000 is a psychological number. Certainly possible. You're already getting an extended move in the NASDAQ. You got everything that you wanted from Jerome yesterday.
Yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if psychologically it had some chop. Just try to remember, if Tesla doesn't make the 1250 break today, if some of these ridiculous runs and some huge runs in the semis can pull back a little bit, you might not get that break today. But that's for something like Google, it's not that relevant unless you're day trading Google, which I know we aren't. But if you're holding it, it doesn't matter. Like the real break has already happened, and you're screaming and you got what you want from the Fed. I said in the chat, I'll just say here. For me, FATB, we just got locates available. They're 72 cents a share, which given how much it can move is not an unreasonable price. However, I'm not paying for them because if I had gotten those on the way up and could have shorted 25 the first time or the halt down the first time, fair enough. But that trade is come and gone. And unless it breaks the high of the day and goes parabolic again and gives you a new opportunity, then I don't want to pay for the shorts. If it does do that, well, then suddenly you're thinking about a top at like $40 or $50, which I think is going to be another fantastic shot. So you already missed the trade here as far as I'm concerned, or I missed the trade here at 25 or the halt down. I'm not going to chase it and pay that at lunchtime. If it makes a move in the afternoon, then maybe it's worth it. At this point, I'm going to call it off. And I got out of my Moderna, a series of higher lows. Again, double bottom here at 85, a higher low here at 88. I'm just going to take it off there at 89. So the last trade will give us about $7. If it's going to follow through, it could always break that 85 low later on in the day or retest and fail at 300 and we can get back in. But I'm going to take that one off and hold on to just QuantumScape.
I just got the lunch email from our caterer here today. Neil, you're going to like it. I get the salad every day. No, it's not chicken wings. Corned beef sandwich. Hey now.
I like corned beef.
I know. Hey now. Not bad there. We'll find out from Valeria and Peter Pratt how you say that in National Sandwich Day. Ooh, the Philly cheesesteak. I got to see.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Yeah, my kids even loving that as well. Of course, they don't eat any of the mushrooms and the peppers or anything in that in there. Kids, give me a break. Anyways, I did rebalance. I was looking at the portfolio actually just before we got on the show. Google is Now it's way too much. I have way too much Google right now, but I mean, 99 problems and Google ain't one. But at the same time, I do think we've talked about this a little bit here, obviously on the show, and that you don't want to be too overweight anything. But at the same time, a good play there, Google. I do like that name moving forward. So I think that
there is a downside to sort of shuffling, right? So, and I can't.
Yeah, I got out of Microsoft a little bit at 300.
Part of the reason why I was selling Silvergate is because it was just because I never sell any crypto, it's it just becomes more and more of your portfolio, and then your choices of what to sell boil down to, do I want to sell things like Square, Coinbase, or Silvergate? And then when I see Silvergate do stupid things, I'm like, sell that one. Well, that was at 150, and it went to 220. Cassava Sciences, by the way, just broke back up, so it's managed to stay open. It found a base at 75, which, you know what, probably made a heck of a lot more sense than I was willing to give it credit. Because 75 was, this looks random on this wick to the upside, but promise me when I tell you this entry at 75 even is because there was a nice tiny consolidation there when you're looking at the tape. It would stall up there and the bid would hold it for a couple of seconds and you punch that long. So the fact that it held support there was actually a good sign. I probably should have been thinking about a long. The only level if it breaks up is 100. And if it breaks 100, 125, and those are what we're watching for here. And they could come into play. Cassava is still looking like it wants to climb here. What an unbelievable trading opportunity it was. Might get some more during Memes and Movers and even Power Hour here, because I don't think this story is done by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to be ignoring Avis, but whoops.
It's at 300. It's not really moving.
That's NASDAQ. But it actually put a nice recovery in.
Yeah.
So it bounced at 277. You got a huge spike into 312 or 313. If I can pull up the 15-minute chart, always when in doubt, zoom out. If you went in the afternoon, when I tried shorting it, it made a break of 05s and came right back in. It looks like it's finding some resistance at those same levels, but that's a wipeout bottom through the previous low and then an immediate consolidation higher. So it is primed for a chance at a secondary run. Every day this stock spends, I guess above any of these lows here, but probably above 300 is going to be a win, because that just means, it's kind of like that GameStop AMC thing. If it doesn't fall like a rock and hold these levels, that's still up about almost 100% from that 178 close that it had before for those earnings. It's a monster run. And if it holds up here, the longer it does that, there's just more shorts that are still in this thing that get jittery, and then you can have a reignition to the upside. I think that probably stalls out at 400, but hey, the day it happens, you want to be ready for it when the break occurs, and it's just another positive sign that could be in the cards. Volume maybe not with it here today, but don't sleep on it just because there's other names running today. At some point, we're going to get a huge opportunity on CAR, one way or the other, and right now, it seems like the next big move is likely to the upside.
Yeah, I think that's probably, to the upside. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably right. We'll wait to see where we go. Someone asking if I'm still in Zillow. Yes, I am. We gave you the price targets that we had there. It didn't break 69, so that would have been really close to us getting out there. A little lower than 69, we're out. So just those of you that are tracking some of the trades that I'm in right now, we are obviously still in this Zillow. So as you can see on the board, so we'll wait to see. I did put an offer. Now that I just saw that tick down to 69 and we almost lost $1, I now have an offer around 71. So if we can get out a piece there, and again, we'll try the third strategy. If we can get out some of that at 71, that might be pretty good. I sort of thought that we would have taken off a little bit once we broke 70. That didn't happen. We've now broken it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Broke it. Not broke in it. Broke it now a few times, like 1, 2, 3 up there before tanking back down. Now we break it again, and we get as high as 70, 50. So not a great trade here for me on Zillow, it looks like.
Where's Zillow?
It's still here. It's just, I'm not worried about it, but it is making some moves here. It almost got ticked out at 69, so we got saved there. So that's why I'm thinking that right now we don't need all this risk on there. So we'll take a little bit off if it gets to 71. Let's wait to see.
I got out of I probably gave up on Lightspeed too soon, and I left some on the table in QuantumScape here, just pointing out, wow, yeah, so LAC did a thing. It went through 40 to 41.50, like really? So the breakout is really on this name. I mean, Abramal is probably like the go-to for lithium, but here in Canada, LAC has been a monster runner, making some fresh highs. So shout out to all you guys in the chat that have been all over it and giving advice like, yeah, where to get into for the lithium game in Canada, and that's been a huge one. As I said, we have this one. You would never use pumpkin pie for this, but just pie in my face, right? I wanted to make sure that we're looking for a bottom on Lightspeed, and just probably too early. Sometimes the best way to play a bottom pick is not to catch the falling sword. It's allowed to get all the way to that support level maybe even trap some shorts, put the break in at 68, because we were looking at 68 to 70, right? So you can either just buy in front of it like I did and lose. We got a bit small win and we lost on the rest of it, so I'm down on the stock. Or you let it actually give that capitulation. It's easier to see if I do this for you guys. Let it capitulate, find a bottom, and then re-enter the trade when it goes back into your target area. Because that gives you a couple of things. It gives you some of the longs like myself that have paper hands that are out of it, so there's less people selling on the way back up. It traps some shorts through that 68 level on the daily chart, and then gives you an obvious out. So you're back in 68, 68 half, 69, whatever it might be, and now you're like, give it to the low of the day. The fresh low made it 67. Now it pops into VWAP where it found resistance before. Not a horrible idea to sell some at 72 if you're in this one, but it's just a better way sometimes to enter trades. You'll hear me say this about the short sometimes, that you want to allow it to break that top, trap, and then get back in. The downside of that is you might miss the trade. But sometimes the best way to make a trade is to be willing to miss the opportunity, and it just raises the percentage chance that you're going to win, but you got to be willing to have that miss in order to get the best setup sometimes. You never have to miss out on Brendan. Time for a little money talks. Haven't even checked in on crypto.
Yeah, not really doing much. We'll touch on some currencies here, guys. Here we go at the bottom end of the board here, down a little bit today, 1% for both, not really anything. Both have had decent moves that we've talked about over the past couple of days. That is the dollar index. I zoomed into an hourly chart because I wanted to highlight what happened yesterday during the Fed. We got all the way back down here to recent lows on the DXY in a very volatile move, 94.5 at the top, 93.75 at the bottom. But look what happened today, just straight to the upside for the dollar. There's been a lot of positive economic data this entire week, in fact, for the U.S. economy overall, so 0.5% to the upside, which has a lot of these in negative territory, including Australia, New Zealand, the British pound, 1.3%, all the way back to recent lows. For the pound today, same story for the Canadian dollar. We're back around that 80 cent level, 80.3 today. The euro as well under pressure. So all about the DXY today, guys. The dollar very strong.
Oh, the Playmaker 88. Yeah, OCGN is absolutely.
Look at Fisker.
It's still pissing. OCGN's down 20%, man. Look, we talked about this one the other day, and it's just the skid. There's no, when this falls, the bid just evaporates, and I think that's one thing you always want to pay attention to. Like, what is the nature of a stock when it moves to the upside or downside? People are getting out of the way of the offer because they're afraid, like on Tesla, or do people get out of the way on the bid when it goes downside? And that's what happens in OCGN. It's continuing downside. I can't say the line. I know what you're talking about. It's pissing like you know who. I'm not going to go there, but I love that R. Kelly song. I love that R. Kelly skit on Chappelle as well. So the remix edition.
All right. Yeah, let's not go there. Okay, so right now, Fisker, we just took, I mean, how much did we just take there? I mean, simple math, Sean. Let's just do this right now in front of you. 55, short 70, so 15 cents. And now we're okay, here we go, Fisker. So now, you know, hopefully, as they say, revenge is a dish best served cold. So we'll see here if we do get any revenge at all here on FSR to the downside now. And then, like, I own this in my own account, so me sitting here kind of trash talking this doesn't make too much sense, but we'll see if it can come back to the downside. We'll make a little bit more money here. Looking at really like 1740, it's stronger than I thought today. So if we can get back down to VWAP, we'll take out another 50. I mean, we just took out 20%. I was trying to like hold this to the downside again. So we'll see about 1740, maybe another bid here somewhere. I don't have any bids out right now, but we should put one out if that can come through. So now we're just tanking even more through 1740. So that's a good one. And then again, guys, like Ape Nation, shout out to all you guys right now, trying to become one of you. We're holding AMC, man. This is $1 plus in the money now. Nice move to the upside as it just continues to go, man. 40.50. I didn't even take that out, man. That was a $1.50 winner there, and we didn't take it out. So right now we're going to hold on to this bad boy and see where AMC goes from here. But we really like this trade. So far, so good. And adios, Fisker. Down to the 40s. Let's take some more out.
So Skills was another one that reported. I didn't see this wipeout bottom off the open, so we're going to get right to it here. Just one capitulation candle and then right back to the upside. So just being gobbled up. Somebody was just waiting for the stock to fall. Maybe, who knows who it was. But anyways, monster move up. It's just holding here. That's an ominous number. Down 6.66%. So pre-market highs at 1180. That's just weird anyways. But if you go to the 15-minute chart here on Skills, You got a couple of levels that get concerning if it gets back into the upside here. You got a cluster 1180, 12 even. So if it gets to these prices, you kind of think it might start to slow down. But I'm looking at that pre-market high for a bit of a fade trade. That's a huge buy and very, very bullish when you get a capitulation candle like that. But you want to be long usually off of something like this area, like that support that it had before at $11. That's where you want to be long. Otherwise, you're waiting for it to break the next level and get to a new price range. So I would play the fade off of that high. And if it's going to make a secondary push, let it break 12 even. Brendo?
Okay, so I think we're safe to say not as busy as yesterday, which was not as busy as the day before. But a few notable names, to say the least, guys, coming tonight for earnings aftermarket and tomorrow morning.
Having so much fun, I didn't even realize it. See a DraftKings, down with DraftKings, up with Square. We like Square, but the fintech names have been getting rocked. So hopefully we can find out some more information about what the heck's going on with Square tomorrow. That's something I'm looking at there. We've been long rocket companies for a while.
If you saw what Lyft did with obviously it was a huge move on earnings. I'd be surprised, and some of it's going to be priced in because I know Uber moved up like 6% when Lyft reported, so some of it's going to be priced in. But if Uber can't make a similar impressive showing, I'll be incredibly disappointed. I got to think you should be pressing into this $50 area and trying to get to that 200 period. But some of it is likely priced in. Like I said, I mean, Lyft is going to report and move, and then Uber got dragged halfway there. So a few interesting names left. Of course, Today's about Uncle Jerome, right? And the NASDAQ making some fresh highs. There is a pullback in the ES, but that's like some risk going back into some names. I forgot to check back in on Upstart because that was like I'm sitting here like Sean and I were talking and looking at what plays we wanted to make on the number when the Fed came in. I was like, well, if Upstart's getting pummeled today, and if tech goes up after Powell goes, then Upstart should get a bounce. I took the long and lost on it, and all it did was go up. So sometimes it's about the execution, but Upstart still in the midst of its consolidation after pulling back a whopping 33% from 25% from the highs, or 33% from the highs. Right now it's about 25% from those highs, and still trying to hold up today. So it's not really getting that bounce, although it gave a good one after the Fed announcement yesterday. Yeah,
I wish we would have got up with that. Wish we would have been in Upstart instead of PaySafe. I mean, fintech companies, I know they're different companies, but hopefully Fisker can hit this 1745 where we're waiting at for that one more flush down, and we'll get hopefully a nice little bid there. There was one other name I want to talk about before we throw to Valeria, but I can't remember what it is. So we'll throw to Valeria now. What's up?
Hey guys, thank you very much for spending this day with us. I hope you're doing great. Thank you for all the support, for all the super chats, and of course the main thing for likes. If you didn't like this video, please do it right now and come join me in Prague to continue trading. We trade today not until 1 but until 2 p.m. so it's going to be super fun, and happy National Candy Day.
Yeah.
I love how you see like a lot of Christmas candies in there. So we just had Halloween. It should be like National like Kit Kat Day or something. The candy's going crazy right now at my place. I mean, we got to limit the kids. Like they just want to, can I take that bag of chips? Can I take this bag of chips? It's like, it's getting out of hand. Yeah, candy, man. Even when you walk, even when you talk, it takes hold of me. Tastes like, I love that song. You guys are like, what's he talking about? It's Cameo, man. It's from the, I used to rock one, and it's from the 80s, and it's a great song. I don't care what anyone says. But there is so much candy that got handed out. We have a bin, and it's like the stuff that my daughter won't touch. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, and I'm not calling people out for what candy they buy for Halloween, but like I feel like we at least got like 50% more of the stuff that almost nobody wants this year. I'm basically like having like 1 or 2 pieces of candy that I don't like. Starburst, I don't know who likes Starburst still. We got a ton of that I got to eat, or we're throwing it out. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, bring you like Starburst? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring all. I think everybody likes Starburst. What's wrong? I got a bag full of stuff that we don't like that you guys are all welcome to have. I'll bring it in tomorrow. Yeah, man. Starburst. You like Starburst? I guess I'm on an island. I'm on an island. I don't like it. My wife doesn't like it. My kid won't touch the stuff. Like you guys are on an island. But that's really? Fine. I think so. Okay, Lucas, man. Starburst. Okay. Yeah, so you're on an island, bro. Okay, so that's fine. But that's a good thing, though. Everyone should like. So too. Yeah, that's a good thing. Look, yeah, dentists love Halloween. That's for damn sure. Yeah, so look, big time movements here. Ford going to the downside. I don't know why. We'll find out more about that. It just cracked through 19. It's not too much. It's 1890 right now, but a good show, man. We're still holding on to this Fisker as well. And AMC. Let's go to the moon. You're going to the best show right now for AMC. Yes, right? And you're going to it for an extended period. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about it. It's till 2 p.m. Trader V, Trader Pratt, and Miss V.
Kill him.
Trader V and Miss Pratt over here for Memes and Movers. Let's go, guys. How you doing, Miss V? Say hello to the viewers.
Hi guys, thank you for joining us today. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and make sure to like this video because today is the first day when we extend our show all the way until 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you're happy to have this community for longer during the day. How's your day going, Pratt? I've heard